shows to prep. All your favorite action. All your favorite talk shows. Find it on ProView Networks.
.40 by Southern Utah last night.
Looked a little bit like the Steelers' offense.
I imagine so. They didn't score a touchdown, did they?
No.
You told me that Southern Utah was good. You told me that they won the WAC. You didn't tell me New Mexico was going to shoot 27.5% from the field, that they were going to miss layups all night. They were going to go 2 for 11 from three-point range and lose in wonderful fashion to Southern Utah last night.
Didn't see that poor of an offensive performance coming. Yeah. They got some issues. Cumber out, point guard's not 100%, and it really affected the offense.
All right. We'll get there. We will get there. We're going to get into Bronco Mendenhall, Lobo football coach. How was that atmosphere out there yesterday? The big crowd, and obviously I was here whilst that was going on. But the Lobos introduced their new football coach, Bronco Mendenhall, to an enthusiastic group of people out at the pit yesterday. Lots of suits and ties, and all the big dogs were there. I mean, you and I mean, everybody was there. How'd it go? What was the atmosphere?
It was what you were describing. If you haven't been around Bronco Mendenhall, if you haven't heard Bronco Mendenhall speak, it's impressive. He's buttoned up. He wasn't surprised by anything. He had a great answer for everything. And he's the coach that's going to get people excited because it's about, and you saw this too with Danny. He came in, felt like there's a little bit more, fanfare, former Lobo coming back. Like, this feels a little bit more football oriented just in the beginning. I think that's the sense you're getting, is people expect the football to get right.
Was there and I don't want to get into this quite a bit, and I know we're going to hear from Bronco as we go throughout the day. I know this is an impatient fan base, and I say that knowing that every fan base is impatient. But I know that this is a fan base that just went through 4 years of not winning, followed by, 3 years before that with Bob Davie of not winning, or was it 2? Since 2016. And so 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, so 8 years. So every fan base is impatient. And when you make a change, often patience is required. Now you're going to say, well, look what happened down at New Mexico State. Look at what happened at UNLV. And I think they're all different situations. Some different in a better way, some different in a tougher way. What was the sense of urgency in that regard?
I don't really think we got that from yesterday.
Okay.
I think that is a question we've been asking since, Tuesday night? When it really came down, and then we came on Wednesday morning. You're trying to get the feel, because one of the things Bronco Mendenhall did say yesterday is he talked about the process, and he said, and he went back to the even early 2000s with New Mexico and said, we won 3 games, and then 4 games, and then 5 games. I remember that.
It was one more game every year, yeah.
So he mentioned that. So he's, like, any coach comes in and says, hey, we have championship expectations, but
it's going to take a minute.
To get there, might be a couple steps.
Yeah. All right. The contract details were unveiled, and I kind of told you, I think Wednesday, Tuesday, I don't even know what day today is. So kind of where the money was going to be. I told you it was going to be right about $1.2 million. And the annual compensation for this football coach is $1.2 million, plus the incentives. Right? There's Coach of the Year incentives up to $100,000 for league stuff. CFP, $300,000 if they somehow get to the college football playoff, or New Year's Six Bowls. There's all kinds of incentives, academic incentives, all kinds of stuff. A $1.2 million base. So you are now brought up as far as when we talk about resources and what you're paying the coach. I don't know what the assistant coach's pool is, but I gotta believe, and again, I have not spoken with Bronco. Okay, I've asked for him to come on the show. I was told he was not doing anything until maybe next week. So you might get him next week if you want him. But I know, talking to people throughout this process, everybody basically said, here's what I need. Here's what to do this. Here's what I want, right? Whether it's a coaching pool increase for my assistant coaches, whatever it is. And obviously they came to terms. Do you feel better, different, worse after sitting and listening to Bronco, or is it just reaffirm what you thought you knew?
It reaffirmed what I heard.
Yeah.
The things you were saying, what former players were saying when we talked to Dontrell Moore yesterday, reading some of the quotes from former players, it's kind of solidified their feelings of who he was. And that's just the first step. It sounds good. It looks good. Now, it's getting people on board. There was immediately a big push right after on social media when it comes to NIL stuff, because he spoke on that.
So, and I want to get into that a little bit, and we'll hear what he said. But where was he with that?
He's got to have it. Got to build it.
And did he make a plea? Was it because I'm going to tell you, when Danny came up with and it wasn't, maybe it was Danny, I don't know. $20 a month. If you can't come in big, can you do $20 a month? Right? And you get 100 people at $20 a month. You get 1,000 people at $20 a month, right? I mean, 20,000 people at 20,000 or 1,000 people at $20 a month is $20,000 a month, right? It's $240,000 a year that goes into the NIL pool. It helps. It's a big deal. All right, so we're here for that at 505-246-0610. That'll be the text line today, and also the phone line. That's how you can get here. You can send emails, Jeff at sportsanimалabq.com or JJ at sportsanimалabq.com. On the Twitter or X now, you can find JJ at _JJ Buck. And on our Facebook, you can watch the show and like us while you're there. It's the OD in the AM. You can watch it via ProView Networks. Adrian's producing for you there, and DC will take your phone calls. All right, I'm not going to lie. A little surprised. Bailey Zappi, 3 TDs last night. The Steelers,
100% surprised.
What's that?
You have to, of course,
Yeah.
3 first-half touchdowns like that, the way that New England Patriots came out. And if you're the Steelers this morning, inexcusable. This is undefensible as happened the last 2 weeks. As much as we talk about football is football, it's the NFL. When you're the first team to ever be above 500 and then lose back-to-back games against teams that are at least 8 games below.
I didn't even see that stat. That's fascinating to me.
500? Really hard to talk about Mike Tomlin the way we're talking about him.
No, that's right. And Steeler fans are getting to be done with Mike Tomlin. And maybe it's his fault. Maybe it's coaching decisions. Maybe he's throwing out Mitchell Trubisky and quirky receivers like Deontay Johnson, whatever it is. But yeah, no, Steeler fan, and I was with one last night. Cranky is a very kind term. A very kind term. Mitchell Trubisky, 190 yards, touchdown, interception. They didn't do anything. He threw the ball for 190 yards last night? They didn't do anything last night. And they watched New England, who hadn't won in, forever. They'd lost 5 in a row. 9 of their last 10. New England had lost. In the last 3 weeks, New England scored 6, 7, and 0. That's 13 points in 3 weeks. Halftime yesterday, New England had 21 points against this vaunted Steelers defense. No, as Steeler fan, you have got to be pissed. By the way, I did play Ezekiel Elliott. Did you?
Yes, I did.
You did?
Yes, I did.
You were leaning on it too, weren't you? Did you get him in your lineup?
I do not have Ezekiel Elliott.
Oh, you don't?
I do not.
All right.
But I'm glad you did.
I played him over Austin Eckler.
Did you really?
That was my
That's bold.
biggest move of the fantasy football season.
I love that.
It's a pretty big one. I mean, he had 68 yards. If you're in a PPR league, he had 7 receptions for 72 yards. So total yards from scrimmage, 142. No, 7 carry the 1, 8, 7, 138. 138 yards and a touchdown for Zeke Elliott.
First game with at least 140 scrimmage yards in 2021.
I mean, what does that tell you about him? Can he,
Good on you,
can he
Zeke.
do it every week? Is he just?
Probably not.
I mean, obviously, it was filling in for Ramondre Stevenson, who didn't play. But what does it tell you? Can he do it every week, or is he being underutilized? Or hey, nice plug-in, good job, good effort.
It's a reminder that the Steelers are a name brand. They're a bottom 12 defense in the NFL, stats-wise.
I bet a lot of people loaded up on their defensive fantasy football. The people who stream defenses probably loaded up on they're playing Bailey Zappi and a team that hadn't scored in a month. Basically, they scored 13 points. I'm going to load up on the Steelers, and I'm going after what the hell just happened, right? Sorry for your luck in a game you probably need to get into the playoffs. All right. What time you want to do Red Zone? Here's what our guest list today. We're going to do with Bull Week next week, and Aggie fans going to love this, and I think Lobo fan, you will like this too. Whether you like the Aggies or not, our guest is, and I think you'll agree with me, almost impossible not to like. Jack Nixon, the voice of the Aggies, is going to be with us, right? Jack started calling Aggie games in the 70s. He called at Liberty his 500th football game for New Mexico State. Jack has seen it all at New Mexico State and has been rewarded finally with this magical season. And we'll talk about the bowl game, but really what I want to talk about was a magical career. Let me give you a little bit of an analogy here.
500 football
Isn't that
games
amazing?
is insane.
Isn't that insane? To Lobo fan, he's their Mike Roberts. As much as you loved Mike Roberts and he was synonymous with Lobo football and basketball, Jack Nixon is that to Aggie fan. Aggie fan grew up listening to Jack. He is a multi-time New Mexico Sportscaster of the Year, and he's got stories, and he's just a good dude. So Jack's going to join us at 8:30, and it really, more than anything, DC, I was telling you this in the pregame show, in the pre-meeting, the pre-show meeting. We could talk about the football team a little bit, but really, a guy who you think of the bad football he's seen over the years, and I'm glad he gets to enjoy it, and I'll bet he's got some stories. I don't know how many he'll share. But, I mean, he's earned this season, hasn't he? If anybody.
I'm just doing the quick math on this.
Yeah.
So we're talking about 40 years approximately, right?
Yeah, 40 plus years.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah,
That is
because
awesome.
what's 12 times 40? Right?
48?
No.
Or wait, 12 times 40, you said?
Yeah. I mean, we all got phones sitting
Making
right
us do math on
here.
the radio.
I know. Right, but if you see, let's just say 12 games a year-ish.
So 480.
Yeah, so he's been doing this 40, I think it was 42 years, if I'm not mistaken. He'll tell us. But it's insane. So we'll do that at 8:30. When we come back, can we hear some of what Bronco Mendenhall had to say? You'll listen to what Bronco said at the press conference yesterday, some of what he had to say. And I want your thoughts. The Lobos got a new head football coach, and he's going to tell you what he learned from his time off and how he's going to recruit and how he's going to try to retain players. It's the opening drive on 95.9 FM and AM 610, the Sports Animal, your home for Sunday night, Monday night, and Thursday night football.
For the real story behind.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
Albuquerque's leader in sports is ProView. From pros to prep. All your favorite action. All your favorite talk shows. Find it on ProView Networks.
We aren't all born with the same opportunities. But it's the people who care that change everything.
Get ready, Spout, get ready!
My coach. My teacher. My older sisters. My grandma. My brother. My tutor. My dad and my mom.
As Mexicans, it's up to all of us to do our part.
So that no child goes without love.
And no family has to do it all on their own.
They're all our children. Every single person is called to make a difference in the life of a child.
It's up to all of us to do our part.
To pull together.
Pull together.
Pull together.
To make New Mexico the best place to be a kid.
Young driver, this one. Hard to get her out. She'd been drinking. This one. Both of them gone. They'd been drinking, and he drove clear off the road. This was my family. The drunk driver hit us, and my wife, and our daughter. They didn't make it.
Hi, I'm Steve Sunker here for Dr. Robert Melendez and the Juliet Eye Institute. You may remember me like this, but no more. The glasses are gone. I tossed them months ago because of a brand new procedure from Dr. Melendez known as RLE, Refractive Lens Exchange. The latest technology, the best eyesight I've ever had in my life, and you can check it out by clicking on the link in the description right here.
If you're drunk, blasted, intoxicated, ripped, plastered, destroyed, bruh. If you're like this, you shouldn't be driving.
We here at Clark's Pet Emporium welcome you to bring in your pets. We know that having your pet with you makes the experience of shopping for them even better. And we welcome you to bring your kids also. Clark's Pet Emporium, your pet's second best friend.
Hey, look! It's Dwight Goodman!
Boom! This place is hot. Let's see if anyone needs my help.
610, the sports animal. All right, how you feeling? You got a coach. I guess you've known it for a few days, right? So are you feeling any different, or is it? And you know, the weird part about this one is, even when Danny got the job, right? I don't know how many of you thought you knew Danny Gonzalez, right? And I'm not even sure I thought I knew Danny that well. And at the press conference, it was like, all right, it was almost your introduction, right? These are introduction press conferences. And when you introduce a coach to a new market, like when Richard Pitino came in, you saw Richard Pitino on TV, but did you know him? And here he is, now he's in your market. Okay, you start to get a feeling of a guy's personality. I think there was a lot, JJ, yesterday of a reacquaintance as opposed to an introduction. I feel like while Bronco has been gone from here since I believe it was 2002, Bronco's been in the consciousness of sport fan here. He was the head coach at BYU, who was a league foe for a long time. He was back in town. He won a New Mexico Bowl back in, I think, 2010 was the year, right? And there was, you see what I'm saying? I don't think this was as much of an introduction as a reacquaintance.
I think it was.
Yeah.
Because there's fans like me.
Yeah.
And when Bronco was here, I was in high school.
That's
and
fair.
so I didn't necessarily, I knew of Bronco Mendenhall, but I always didn't know his personality, really what he was doing at the University of Mexico at the time. Like I was my dad and I, we were season ticket holders early in high school when we go into the games, but it's still, he didn't know the stuff you do now about coaches and how they look. So I think you're right on. Like Bronco Mendenhall it's not an unknown, but I think there's still a lot of people that for the first time are understanding his personality, his mindset, what his culture is. When you hear that buzzword, it's a little bit different.
Well, that word comes up a lot, doesn't it?
It's a little different. Like everyone has a culture, but how they go about it is always just a little bit different than someone else.
All right. Bronco talked about the time off, and he walked away from a very well-paying position in the ACC at Virginia, where he was having success. And he was asked about it, and you know why, and what did you learn from taking some time away from football?
I had was able to lead a podcast called the Head Coach University podcast over the past 18 months or so. Approximately 50-ish head coaches that I've had on, and it's been an amazing opportunity with others listening to educate folks, but also to have a dialogue about what's the best way to lead in today's landscape. And those conversations, I think, are impactful and meaningful. And that part, besides watching the games, having the dialogue, I don't think there's any coach in the country that's had a chance to talk to about 50, I don't know the exact number, so somewhere in there, that number of skilled and successful leaders about just what you asked me to do. And so I think that'd be almost the equivalent of a doctorate study, right, in leadership and Division I football today.
It's interesting, right? I mean, I wasn't just sitting around, I was learning. And that's a zero surprise. It's who Bronco is. I think, and I'm not going to pretend I know him well. But a very cerebral guy who always has felt to me like he's always trying to get better, right? And so he did the podcast. What do you say, for about 18 months? And in that 18 months, NIL, landscape, the collectives, all that stuff has continued to evolve, to grow, to become even more and more prominent, as it will 18 months from now, right? And so what did he learn from talking to 50 coaches? What did he learn from that podcast?
Almost every conversation within that, either off air or on air, then talked about NIL and the collective. And so if we're saying the role of college football today, it used to be where one of the primary indicators of a program's commitment to football was what their facilities look like. The stadium, the offices, etc. While that's still important, another factor has now trumped that. Another factor has become more meaningful, and that's what kind of support financially can the kids have. Whether we like that or not, right, the reality is the commitment to football a lot of times is manifest now in what the collective funding looks like. And that's a brand new era. And so, yes, the facilities have to be state-of-the-art and industry standard at least. The commitment, the coaching, certainly. But this era now requires an amazing resource for the student-athletes and management of that through collectives. And who would have thought in college football that would be part of it? But not only is it a part of it, it's an essential part of it. And that's also a priority for me, to benefit not only the community, to get the roster and maintain the right kind of young people.
It's just another huge chunk that has become the hugest chunk, right? A piece of coaching that might not have been, well, it wasn't, on the radar 5 years ago, has now leaped to the top. And he said a few things about facilities, because there's a lot of ways to hear what he said, okay? He didn't say state-of-the-art or industry standard facilities are not important. In fact, he said quite the opposite. You have to maintain state-of-the-art. Am I almost verbatim? You have to maintain state-of-the-art or at least industry standard facilities. That is it. That's like almost a given, right? But now you have to get the collectives and you have to play at that level in NIL, and that is a community engagement, a community involvement thing. When you heard that, was there a reaction in the room where everybody's shaking their head? Because this is going to take, and I don't know, I had one of the coaching candidates ask me last week, is the commitment there in the community to do what needs to be done? Can it be done there? Is there, and I'm paraphrasing a bit, but basically, is there the hunger to do this? Because you're at a flex now. You're at a turning point. You're at kind of a pretty important inflection now, where there will be a faction of this fan base. Well, let me see what he does to get involved. And there's going to be people who say, all right, we're starting over. I'm going to get involved and do whatever I think my part is. Right? But what was the reaction? Because, JJ, is there an appetite for enough people to get involved NIL-wise for football? There obviously is for basketball. But to get involved for football and be a player in NIL, hence be a player at the level you want to be a player.
That question is perfect to put out on this platform. Because people in that room last night.
Yeah, everybody was in. Yeah.
Like that.
Yeah, that was woof, woof, woof.
Yeah, those
central.
people that walking on the sidelines,
Yeah.
like those. That's a different level of the people that were in the room. Not last week, yesterday morning. So they're all in.
Yeah.
It's the fans that I saw a couple, which just happened to pop up, that said, "Oh, I'm in."
Okay.
And a couple people actually said, "Oh, I just joined that $20 a month plan, whatever it may be." And I thought it was fascinating because I thought that's the one thing that football should have at least had the last couple years was that belief. Because when you had Danny Gonzalez, and that's kind of what you're getting people to go into, but it wasn't. And now with Bronco Mendenhall in, new hope, re-excitement, going through this process, I think a few people will buy in, but that's hard to do.
I know.
Like, because
I know
people are just sitting there going, wait. You want me to buy season tickets?
Yep.
Do everything else that costs to go
join
to
the
these games?
I want you to join the Lobo Club. I want you to buy season tickets.
And I have to do this. I understand.
Yeah.
Raise your hand if that can immediately fit in your budget. Not many hands go up.
No, and that's where, in a community like this, look, and I will tell you this. We are, somebody said this to me yesterday, and it's so true. We are the richest poor state in America. What does that mean? There's money here. There's also a lot of poverty here, okay? But there is money here. There is more and more business here. There are more and more places to tap in. I think all of us who are out mining for it, whether, it's United, the Lobos, the Isotopes, a bowl game, whatever it is, I think some of us tend to tap into the same old revenue streams, and you've got to go out and shake some hands and meet some new people. But there is money here. How do you engage people? Well, I mean, you go out and shake hands, look people in the eye, and make them feel that they're part of something. Okay, so the $20 a month club is interesting. Can that fit into your budget? Can that fit into your budget? Can that fit into my budget? Right? You all have to decide, A, does it fit? And B, do I want to do it? Okay, what am I doing it for? Do I feel engaged? And then the other part is, you're going to have to go find some new streams. There is money here. I think the misnomer that there is now, is there enough to support an NBA team or something like that? We can have that conversation another day. I'm not sure there is. But for something like this, for the support, they got to feel like they're getting something back, right? Whether it's access, whatever it is, you got to make them feel special. But I'm going to ask you this question over and over today. Is there the appetite to do what he just asked for? The NIL stuff. Do you know enough people who are willing to jump in $20 a month, $2,000 a year, $20,000, whatever? Do you know enough companies that are willing to do that? When we come back, more on this, because one of the immediates now is player retention. And I know Broncos meeting with everybody. And how do you keep Bill? How do you keep Devin Dampier? How do you keep this roster together, offensive linemen? And he's going to talk about the importance of player retention. And you've all brought up the challenges. He's aware of them. How does he address the challenges? More from Bronco Mendenhall when we come back on the opening drive on 95.9 FM. And AM 610, the sports animal. Hey, winter's coming this weekend, I hear. How's your vehicle? I know you don't have time for it. You don't have time to keep it clean. You don't have time to protect it. It's one of your biggest investments. Take care of it. Call On the Spot Automotive Detailing. They'll help you take care of your car wherever and whenever it's convenient for you. They come out to your place of business, your home, wherever it is that you are, and you got an hour or two for them to go detail your vehicle. They'll take care of it. You don't have to take it to them. But when they're done, your vehicle's looking, feeling, smelling like it's brand new. And the great thing right now, big sales through December on all their services, from window tinting, paint protection, Ceramic coating, whatever it is you're looking for. Look, this is one of your biggest investments. Take care of it. You'll stay mud-free all winter long with On the Spot Automotive Detailing. It's a great gift, by the way. You're all looking for gifts right now. This is terrific. OTSdetailing.com has all your information. You can book and buy there. OTSdetailing.com.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
Rosendo Najar here, president of Carpenters Local 1319.
Juan Junior Gonzalez, warden of Local 1319. Some people have a misconception about what a carpenter does.
The carpentry trade entails more than just woodworking or building houses. We are responsible for 85% of a construction job site. Everything from the superintendent on down. We have a great apprenticeship program. Information can be found on our website.
We aren't all born with the same opportunities. But it's the people who care that change everything.
Get ready, Spout, get ready.
My coach, my teacher, my older sisters, my grandma, my brother, my tutor, my dad, and my mom.
As Mexicans, it's up to all of us to do our part.
So that no child goes without love.
And no family has to do it all on their own.
They're all our children. Every single person is called to make a difference in the life of a child.
It's up to all of us to do our part.
To pull together.
Pull together.
Pull together.
To make New Mexico the best place to be a kid.
Hi, my name is Daniel Chavez, and this is my business partner, David Chavez. We are the owners of Indeed Safety. Indeed Safety is a local safety consulting company helping our clients with their safety needs for their projects.
One of the things we pride ourselves as a construction safety company is helping our men and women in construction get home safe every day to their families. Indeed Safety is a proud supporter of ProView Network.
If you're drunk, blasted, intoxicated, ripped, plastered, destroyed, bruh. If you're like this, you shouldn't be driving.
Hi, I'm Steve Sucker here for Dr. Robert Melendez and the Juliet Eye Institute. You may remember me like this, but no more. The glasses are gone. I tossed them months ago because of a brand new procedure from Dr. Melendez known as RLE, Refractive Lens Exchange. The latest technology, the best eyesight I've ever had in my life, and you can check it out by clicking on the link in the description right here.
Young driver, this one. Hard to get her out. She'd been drinking. This one. Both of them gone. They'd been drinking, and he drove clear off the road. This was my family. Drunk driver hit us. And my wife and our daughter, they didn't make it.
Here at Clark's Pets, we understand your pets. We take meticulous time to find out more about them. Dig deep into their world to understand their needs. We do research for knowledge of each pet, so you can trust Clark's Pets to provide you the best products and service for your pets, because we work hard to understand all of their needs. Clark's Pet Emporium, your pet's second best friend.
Don't sacrifice quality and flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, red and green chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier sweet rolls. 4 great locations. Or visit us online at Golden Pride ABQ.
You thought about what he said. How did he come across? Gene says, let me give you a history lesson, Jeff. Lobo fans are still crying about attendance against Tulsa. It's Tulsa. It was a chilly November afternoon, and quite frankly, Tulsa just wasn't that great. And maybe some fans stayed away because there were rampant rumors the moving truck was already at Fran's house. After the game, I ran into guys like Leonard Sanchez and Rudy C., and they were literally in tears. They were so far in denial, trying to convince folks that Fran was still committed to the program. And yet, with all that, the crowd was still announced at 29,000. The program was in a much better place than now. I'm not even sure what the point is. What are you telling me? What did you get from that?
Back in my day.
Yeah, I mean, okay. Coach had success. I don't even know. This is from Bill. Jeff, I've been saying this for a long while. Capital letters. New Mexico is the richest, poorest state in the U.S. You need to grow new fans with this new coach. What would happen if UNM would drop prices to attract new folks? Now that's the change in coach. Now that the coaching change has been made, just make it affordable for families to come more than one game a year. At least try something other than having maybe 5,000 people in the stadium. Okay, it's a suggestion. He agrees with me on it. Look, there's money here. There's poverty here, but there is money here too.
I'll say this. I'm on their website right now. You could get very good tickets for $139 for the season.
Now, there's and again, I'm not going to tell you what's affordable to you, right? They have some of the most affordable tickets in America, college football.
Getting in is there. Now, it's how much do you want to get the kids at the game? It's hey kids, we're going to eat our lunches at home type of deal, and then maybe get you some candy at the game. But if you go, it's with any
but it's
destination.
Like going to anything. You go to a movie. Have you ever
go to a movie,
bought popcorn
go to a
or
concert,
soda at a movie?
Yeah, it's
more expensive.
Prices aren't coming down.
The biggest ripoff in the world is soda at a movie or a popcorn at a movie. I mean, honestly.
I don't know. Beer at a stadium is getting pretty outrageous.
Yeah, and I almost expect to pay $16, $18 for beer at a stadium now. I don't expect to pay $18 for a popcorn or $9 for a big, a soda. But I do. I mean, I do expect it and I do pay it. But yeah, no, I see your point. Bill, I appreciate it, and thank you. Don't be a stranger. That's a new emailer that we don't see a lot. All right, so how's he going to keep players? And that's kind of the immediate, right? You've got Devin Dampier, who you're hoping is going to be your starting quarterback next, aren't you? I mean, is every Lobo football fan hoping that?
Yes.
You got Bill, Ja'Cory Krosky-Merrick, honorable mention to All-America. Should have been first team. Mountain West was second. You got a terrific running back. How do you keep him? Bronco talked about that and the importance of, well, here he is.
It's not only the attraction that the collective can help with, it's the retention. The kids that we love right now in our program, if you want them to stay, right? There's a competitive marketplace out there, and as much as I love them and they love me, and they know the trajectory of the program, we have to be able to compete also on that plane. And I think that's super important, and I haven't addressed that, but that's, in most of those conversations, again, either on air or off air, and the head coaches that called me yesterday, the number one thing they were talking about was that component. So that's going to be integral into this, the growth and again, the renewal of this program.
Which means I need it to happen quickly and I need some money. Right? I don't know, is Ventures 505, so Kurt Roth's group, I know it's basketball focused, but he also is helping with football, correct? Theoretically?
Yeah, he is the collective for New Mexico right now.
What happens if he goes away?
They're in trouble.
Right?
Because this is so much based across the board of you got a dude with the means that just is a super fan. And that's what all these collectives are right now. And that's why it's a model that so many people are looking at and going, how can this work? Like, if you don't start allowing schools to participate, what happens? And that's why there's that push now where if you have the money into college athletics, the talk of just letting schools do it, and then you kind of create that, all right, they can do it, we can't type of deal. But at least as of yesterday, Just looking at social media, Kurt Roth was in attendance at this, and so that's a part of it too for Kurt, is knowing that he's out there and people know who he is. They leaned into it because they immediately yesterday published a video on the 505 Sports Ventures social media with Devin Dampier and Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt asking for money.
Good. Challenges, facilities, fan base, history. I mean, you've talked about them all. Recruiting base. Bronco knows about it. What's his plan?
Every challenge comes with an opportunity, and each place has distinct opportunities and challenges. So we identify the challenges, we identify the opportunities, we develop an organizational design to address and magnify both of those things. We bring the right people in place to surround ourselves with. We give them schematic and strategic designs that will deliver the type of kids that will come, and we have a culture that's unmatched, hopefully with the right support. And over time, how much time? Less the better, then the results come. And I know it can be done. We all know because we've seen it. And I know it can be done. I want it to be done. I wouldn't have taken this job unless I thought I was the person to do it. And is it a challenge? What better challenge to take? I love it.
Right answer. I mean, right answer. I wouldn't have taken it if I didn't believe it can be done. I've seen it done before, and I want it. I want it. And I firmly believe he wanted it. Look, Bronco Mendenhall was not going to have a problem finding a job. Would be really clear about that. Now, is it going to work? I mean, we'll see. What are we saying in 3 years, 4 years, 2 years, whatever? I don't know, man. But I do know this. That dude could have gotten a job. Not maybe wherever he wanted, but he could have got a pretty damn good job. Lastly, and then we'll take a break and go to the phones. I know everybody always asks, what about local guys? What about recruiting locally? What about keeping the guys home? What about the Aiden Armentas on the team? That kind of stuff. And he addressed that as well.
I think it's great for the community. I think it's great for UNM, and I think it's great for the young people. When you can play close to home, and if you can represent your hometown, I think that's awesome. And so I think we have to be excellent in our footprint, which starts here in Albuquerque. But there also has to be more than that. So yes, it's a priority. I think it's essential. And I think for the well-being, again, of the community, the school, but those kids that are playing close to home, I think there's a special experience that happens that way that's a little bit different than when you're farther away. Both are great, but yes, we'll continue that.
Yeah. So there you go. I mean, if they're there and if they can play, we want them here. You guys are in 505 Sports Venture, focused on basketball first. A group of business leaders working with 505 to raise NIL for football too. Yeah, it's got to be that way. It's got to be that way. All right, 505-246-0610. You heard from Bronco Mendenhall. What do you think? How do you feel about it? Are you more willing to participate? Whatever participate means. Whether that's go to games, whether that's help with the collective, whatever that means to you. Because I've always told you I'm not going to tell you how to be a fan. I'm not going to tell you how to participate, but there's a lot of ways. Are you more willing to be involved with Lobo football, or are you wait and see? Whatever the answer is, I'm really interested. Get the temperature of Lobo fan. Let's give away. You want to give away those tickets now? We haven't done it this week in the 7 o'clock hour, I don't think. All right, here's what I got for you. We got 2 tickets, Lobo women's basketball. They'll play Boise State on January 6th. Not only will you win the tickets, but you'll qualify for a chance to win a mystery box from All In Autographs. And tomorrow, a live show out at All In Autographs. By the way, Marshall Falk's going to be there next week. He's coming in on Thursday for the Isleta New Mexico Bowl luncheon. He'll speak on Friday at that, and he's going to be at All In Autographs on Thursday. You'll qualify to be drawn tomorrow for a mystery box or a $50, $100, or $250 gift card from All In Autographs. So caller number 3 right now, you will win those tickets and qualify for all the extra stuff from All In Autographs. The phone number is 505-246-0610. Be a part of it, 505-246-0610. On the opening drive, DC's going to give that to you on 95.9 FM and AM 610, The Sports Animal.
This report is sponsored.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
Hi, I'm Steve Sunker here for Dr. Robert Melendez and the Juliet Eye Institute. You may remember me like this, but no more. The glasses are gone. I tossed them months ago because of a brand new procedure from Dr. Melendez known as RLE, Refractive Lens Exchange. The latest technology, the best eyesight I've ever had in my life, and you can check it out by clicking on the link in the description right here.
If you're drunk, blasted, intoxicated, rip, plastered, destroyed, bruh. If you're like this, you shouldn't be driving.
Albuquerque's leader in sports is ProView. From pros to prep, all your favorite action. All your favorite talk shows. Find it on ProView Networks.
These are more than just the sounds of a safe place to go after school. These are the sounds of interest being ignited and of mentors making an impact. At Boys and Girls Clubs, we don't do just one thing. We do whatever it takes to meet the needs of every kid who comes through those doors. Because whatever it takes is what it takes to build great futures. Great futures start here.
Hey, look! It's Dwight Goodman!
Boom! This place is hot. Let's see if anyone needs my help. How about I drive you madman home, huh?
I got this, Dwight. I'm the designated driver. Boom.
Sweet. Does anyone need Dwight's help getting home tonight?
No thanks, Romeo. I've got a taxi all lined up.
Drive safe, Dwight. Boom! Boom!
We here at Clark's Pet Emporium welcome you to bring in your pets. We know that having your pet with you makes the experience of shopping for them even better. And we welcome you to bring your kids also. Clark's Pet Emporium, your pet's second best friend.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walking to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number one. Cover it with green stuff, one scoop is not enough. Find a booth that's real tough, back by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
Don't sacrifice quality and flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, red and green chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier sweet rolls. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenprideabq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
Young driver, this one. Hard to get her out. She'd been drinking. This one. Both of them gone. They'd been drinking, and he drove clear off the road. This was my family. Drunk driver hit us. And my wife and our daughter, they didn't make it.
Winner. All right, don't forget, and that, I think that's going to be really cool next Thursday. I don't know, all in autographs, Marshall Falk He's coming in, and I appreciate Shane helping me. April Lynn and Shane do such an amazing job with all on autographs, but appreciate Shane helping bring Marshall in. He had a relationship, and so we cut a deal with Marshall, and he's coming in to speak at the Isleta New Mexico Bowl luncheon on Friday down at the Isleta Resort and Casino, and then he'll be Thursday, the day before, over at All on Autographs, so you get to meet. When I say this, and okay, bias a little bit, he's an Aztec and he's a Ram. I think Marshall Faulk is one of the best running backs ever in the NFL. I think he is one of the best pass-catching running backs ever. He kind of revolutionized that position from that aspect. I think he's one of the best that ever played.
Oh, I fully agree. It's greatest show on turf. I mean, starting with that guy, he's like the beginning of fantasy football in a lot of ways.
Ooh.
That was the dude that if you got him in your first round, you knew you were going places.
Especially like if it was a PPR league. Did we have PPR back then?
I as you said that, I thought, I don't think PPR was really a thing back then.
It might not have been. So Marshall Faulk, I don't know why we're getting on this tangent, was from New Orleans, or is from New Orleans. And all the SEC schools recruited him to be a defensive back. And so San Diego State recruited him as a running back, and he wasn't playing. And there was a game at Jack Murphy Stadium. They were playing against the University of Pacific in 1991. And he did not start the game. I believe the starting quarterback was Chris Hardy. I could be wrong. But Marshall came in early in the second quarter when the starting running back went down. And in that game against Pacific, where he didn't play in the first quarter, 37 carries. Do you know what? If I told you he had a great game, 37 carries, how many yards do you think he had in this first game?
450.
37 carries, 386 yards, 7 touchdowns.
Oh, my goodness.
The 386 were an NCAA mark. He had scoring runs of 61, 7, 47, 9, 5, 8, and 25. He scored, and he didn't start the game. And then all of a sudden, he became Marshall Faulk.
That was game number 1.
That's how he started it out off at San Diego State.
That is unreal.
That's insane.
That is unreal.
Yeah.
I always liked this guy. He just, man, he was just so much fun to watch. That whole Rams team in the early 2000s was just unreal.
Yeah, that was something. So he will be at All on Autographs on Thursday, and then at Isleta for the Isleta New Mexico Bowl kickoff luncheon next Friday. And don't forget the Isleta New Mexico Bowl, New Mexico State and Fresno State, the exclusive radio home here in Albuquerque, will be right here on 95.9 FM and AM 610, the Sports Animal. First time the Isleta New Mexico Bowl has been on the Sports Animal. So the first time the Aggies have been in it. There's a lot of firsts, and their voice, Jack Nixon, will be with us coming up at 8:30. All right, Sid says Mr. Buck has become a stud. Mr. Symbieta, look at him rubbing elbows with all those honchos. They don't even allow the unwashed masses like Sid in that build. He's talking like you being at the press conference yesterday.
No, I just pretend to be media.
You're big.
Got a job to do.
Just pretend to be media. What else do I got on here? All right, you guys are in on the contract. So let's wrap up the Bronco. Well, we don't have to wrap it up. You can continue. Bronco Mendenhall's contract. $1.2 million. There's incentives. There's a buyout clause. If he's fired in year 3, 80% of his remaining contract. Fired in year 4, 65% of the remaining contract. And fired in year 5, 50% of the remaining contract. So if he's fired in year 5 and there's a year left, it's $600,000. And I know. Look, I know where this is going, and I know how you feel about it. And I'm going to tell you this: there's just not another way to do it. Carl says, why another buyout, Jeff? How many times does Lucy need to pull away the football before they learn? The history of privately funded buyouts, including Craig Neal, haven't been good. How would I guess, Carl, my question is going to be, suggest to me how do you suggest these be worded? Okay. You want 1-year contracts? How do you recruit when other guys are saying, well, you're going to go there, the coach is going to be, he's got 1 year? How do you sign a 5-year contract? And you're protected on the other end now. If Bronco leaves and takes another job, if he goes in year 1, he owes you $3 million. If he leaves in year 2, he owes you $2 million. I mean, there's buyouts both ways. But I guess I've got to go because I know people are uncomfortable with this, and it's a world in which most of us do not live. If we get fired, we get fired. We don't walk away with millions of dollars like Jimbo Fisher.
Life-changing money for getting fired.
Yeah. So I guess I would suggest what would you like? How would you like these to read? I know you don't like buyouts. I don't think anybody does except the guy getting them. But this is a contract. And if you don't honor the 5 years on the contract, well, Jeff, he can leave too. Yeah, and then he's got to buy you out. I mean, do you have a suggestion on this? Because I know people, Carl's losing his mind.
No, a better suggestion that's going to go over for the parties involved.
Yep.
People just say, well, you don't need to buy it. You just got paid this amount of money. You're fired, you're fired.
I got a contract that says I'm employed for 3 more years. Dan says these incentives are a joke. Jeffrey, Juan Jose, and Devontae Carlos. That's you. If Bronco wins the Mountain West Conference title, do you really think he is still going to be coaching in year 5 under the terms of this deal? Nope. He's going to get paid with a rich new contract. That's the real incentive. These other things are just double dipping. They're not double dipping. But to your point, he's not going to go into year 5 under the terms of this deal. They're not going to go to the final year of this deal and say, you got 1 year left. It's just, it doesn't work that way. Why, Jeff? Why a 5-year deal? Because there's going to be no, if he's succeeding, you're going to want to keep him around. And yeah, will he be making more than $1.2 million as a base? He will. Yeah. And if you're winning, I'm going to guess you're not going to have a huge problem with it. Keep them coming. 505-246-0610, 888-922-0610. When we come back, National Football League last night, 21-18. Patriots over the Steelers. We're going into a big weekend, boys and girls. And, boy, has it gotten quiet on a guy that you love to hate. You've gotten real quiet. Until maybe you don't. It's the opening drive on 95.9 FM and AM 610, the Sports Animal, your home for Sunday night and Monday night and Thursday night football.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
Albuquerque's leader in sports is ProView. From pros to prep, all your favorite action. All your favorite talk shows. Find it on ProView Networks.
We aren't all born with the same opportunities. But it's the people who care that change everything.
Get ready, Spout, get ready.
My coach, my teacher, my older sisters, my grandma, my brother, my tutor, my dad, and my mom.
As Mexicans, it's up to all of us to do our part.
So that no child goes without love.
And no family has to do it all on their own.
They're all our children. Every single person is called to make a difference in the life of a child.
It's up to all of us to do our part.
To pull together.
Pull together.
Pull together.
To make New Mexico the best place to be a kid.
Hi, my name is Daniel Chavez, and this is my business partner, David Chavez. We are the owners of Indeed Safety. Indeed Safety is a local safety consulting company helping our clients with their safety needs for their projects.
One of the things we pride ourselves as a construction safety company is helping our men and women in construction get home safe every day to their families. Indeed Safety is a proud supporter of ProView Network.
Teenagers love a party, especially during prom and graduation season. Often, alcohol is involved. Some parents think that hosting a party with alcohol in their home will keep the kids safe, but it's wrong and it's illegal. As a parent, to allow your teenagers' underage friends to consume alcohol on your property is a felony. Parents who host lose the most. Don't be a party to teenage drinking.
This is a program of the Drug Free Action Alliance. For more information, go to burnco.gov/do-not-host.
Young driver, this one. Hard to get her out. She'd been drinking. This one. Both of them gone. They'd been drinking, and he drove clear off the road. This was my family. The drunk driver hit us, and my wife, and our daughter, they didn't make it.
For your surprisingly great rates, contact your local State Farm agent today.
If you want the real deal, call State Farm agent Marty Size in Albuquerque today.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Hey, look! It's Dwight Goodman!
Boom! This place is hot. Let's see if anyone needs my help. How about I drive you madman home, huh?
I got this, Dwight. I'm the designated driver. Boom.
Sweet. Does anyone need Dwight's help getting home tonight?
No thanks, Romeo. I've got a taxi all lined up.
Drive safe, Dwight.
Boom! Boom!
I was born in New Mexico. I grew up on these streets. I got in trouble here.
The OD in the AM with three-time New Mexico Sportscaster of the Year, Jeff Symbieta and JJ Bach.
Couple surprising scores last night, boys and girls. Patriots, who had scored 13 points in the last month, scored 21 last night, beat the Steelers 21-18. Steeler fan losing their mind a little bit. Need to hear from you tonight, or today, what happened last night. Bailey Zappi, wonderful fantasy streaming option this week. Too late for you now. So was Ezekiel Elliott. How about Zeke? 130-something yards of total offense, scored a touchdown on 7 receptions and a bunch of carries. The other surprise last night at what they call University Arena. Used to be AKA. Now it's just the Pit. Southern Utah, 58. UNM, 40. Got a bunch of emails on that as well. It's the opening drive, Jeff Symbieta, JJ Buck, and DC. Jack Nixon, the voice of the Aggies, going to be with us at 8:30. We'll talk to him about his ride over 500 football games that he's called for New Mexico State. And the Aggies are going to be in the Isleta New Mexico Bowl. You'll hear that game right here on the Sports Animal a week from tomorrow. What time you want to do Red Zone today? Whenever you got it ready, you can plug it in. You got an idea? 8:45 Red Zone today. All right. Bigger surprise last night. I know they're two different worlds. Patriots winning or the way the Lobo women got beat 58-40?
Patriots?
Yeah, really? All right.
When was the last time they scored 3 touchdowns in a football game?
When was the last time? It was, that was a while ago.
And did it all in the first half.
I don't think it happened this year. Yeah. I honestly don't think it's happened. They scored 25 against the Bills, but it wasn't. I don't think they scored 3 touchdowns. No, they didn't. That was the first time they did all year. They did in the first half.
Got zapped.
Yeah.
By Bailey Zappi.
Bailey Zappi. Is this the end for Mike Tomlin? Or if they don't make the playoffs, and he's been there, the most amazing thing to me in sports is that they've had basically 3 coaches for half a decade. Like, it's literally one of the most amazing things to me in sports. That one franchise went through Chuck Noll, Bill Cowher, and Mike Tomlin, and that's it for almost 50 years. But is this it for him?
It feels like it is. And Steeler fans took their frustration out of Matt Canada, finally got him out of town, and now all their attention is on Mike Tomlin. And this is a franchise that went through a streak of having a fantastic quarterback. And you've been Roethlisberger all those years. You're winning. Got some Super Bowl championships in there.
Yep.
And then you have that drop-off from one of the best quarterbacks of this era to Kenny Pickett. And you have those expectations. This is not going to feel good.
All right. I want to get into some Eagles and Cowboys play this weekend, right? I said going into the break, it's gotten very quiet about a guy you love to hate. Not you necessarily. But has there been any love in this house ever, or any house for that matter, for Mike McCarthy? The Cowboys football coach, the head coach of the Dallas Cowboys. Is there any ever any love for him?
Not a lot of love for Big Mike.
It has sure gotten quiet, has it not, in regards to the hate for Mike McCarthy? Mike McCarthy made a change. They fired, made a change. Give me the terminology. When they parted ways with Kellen Moore.
Let him go.
All right. A good, young, respected offensive coordinator. Mike McCarthy says, I'm calling the plays. It's what I did with Aaron Rodgers when we won a Super Bowl. I'm calling the plays and I'm working with Dak Prescott. And the common sentiment was, what is that chubby guy doing? He's an idiot. Well, they're 9-3. I keep hearing that Dak Prescott, if the Cowboys beat the Eagles this weekend, is the front runner for MVP in the National Football League, and he may be. Dak Prescott is playing the best football of Dak Prescott's career. Is that all correct? What has been the difference? Well, Mike McCarthy has taken over the offense. Mike McCarthy has worked more with Dak Prescott, and I get it. The player gets the credit, and the player should get the credit. As should the player get the blame when the player throws interceptions and turns the ball over. But y'all have gotten really, 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 really quiet about the hate for Mike McCarthy. And there hasn't been very much verbal love. And I'm here not to give him love. But, man, if you're going to blame him for everything, dude's got to get a little bit of credit on this one, doesn't he?
Got to beat someone worth a darn.
I get it, and that's the
that's the all right. You're sitting back and you're quiet because you're destroying the teams you should be beating.
But you've been screaming about how good Dak is, right? I mean, people have been telling me how great Dak is, and I'm with you. I'm 100% with you. They've got to beat somebody above them.
The Eagles would be a great place to start.
A great place to start.
It's about the playoffs for that team.
So if Mike McCarthy gets knocked out in the second round, I say Mike McCarthy, if the Cowboys get beat again in the second round, and if they don't win this weekend, there's no path that it doesn't have them going through the Eagles or the Niners in the second round. Okay? If they don't win this weekend, they will play, assuming they get through the first round against Atlanta or Tampa Bay, whoever the hell survives that. They will play the Eagles or the Niners on the road in the second weekend. If they don't get past that, are we back to square one? And we might be.
Yeah, because those are the teams you have to compete with. Those are the teams you have to beat. They've shown that they're close to Philadelphia in the matchups of the last few years. Not close.
Not close.
San Francisco.
Yeah.
And this is an interesting stretch, too, for Cowboys and Cowboy fans. Because they've also been hot and cold on Dak Prescott. And he's playing at a high level. Now, if Dak Prescott beats the Eagles, goes and gets you a couple wins, and guess what? Dude's going to get paid. He's going to get the bag. But if he comes up short again, then you're in a difficult spot where knowing, hey, this guy can keep you competitive.
Yep.
This guy's a good quarterback in the NFL. But if you're not beating Philadelphia, if you're not beating San Francisco, what's the next step?
I think that's 100% right. But I'm going to give the guy credit for they've progressed because their quarterback's progressed. And if he gets all the blame, you got to give him some of the credit. And I will agree with you because you got to hold him to the same standard that you're holding Dak to. And I'm holding Dak to the same standard. Yeah, you look great against the Giants. You look great against the Commandos. But how are you going to be against the Niners, the Eagles, the Chiefs, the Ravens? I get it. But, man, y'all have gotten so quiet on your hate of that chubby coach you got. There's been no, well, you know what? Maybe Dak's gotten better. What's happened? What's different over there? Why has Dak gotten better? What's changed? Well, what's changed is Mike McCarthy's calling plays. Mike McCarthy's working more with the offense. I mean, you don't have to like the dude, but you kind of get to give credit where credit's due, don't you? Dan, good morning. You're on the Sports Animal. Hello, Dan.
Good morning, guys.
What's up?
All of that is a bunch of fluff.
All right.
Don't forget, these are the Dallas Cowboys. They will not make the Super Bowl. And I got a C note on anybody that wants to challenge that. Doesn't matter what they do or what you guys are talking about or whatever, it's the Dallas Cowboys. They will fumble at the end. They will not make the Super Bowl. I said that at the beginning of the season. I stick to that. So it's all just a bunch of fluff. And Dak, the MVP? Come on. No. I'm not going down that road. Let's not forget, they're the Cowboys. You guys have a great weekend.
See you, Daniel. I mean, and then there's that. And by the way,
does that have to do with anything with him being MVP?
No.
Yeah, I was waiting to hear an explanation for that as well. Never came.
You guys think Dak? So
he's on the list.
All right.
Like there's not a surefire MVP candidate right now.
Agreed. All right, we had this conversation with two other guys the other day, so I'm going to throw him into this conversation. MVP right now. I know we got 5 weeks left. I'll go in alphabetical order. Tyreek Hill, Christian McCaffrey, Dak Prescott.
Tyreek Hill.
Yeah, if Reek goes for 2,000, I'm amazed by him.
And I'm Christian McCaffrey.
And I understand that too.
No, and that's fine. And if he goes for 2,000, we'll have another conversation. You might sway me. I'm not convicted in this. I'm convicted it's one of those two more than it is Dak, though, for right now. Now, if Dak, let's just say Dak goes for, Cowboys beat the Eagles this weekend. Dak throws for 324 and 3 touchdowns and runs for 1, and he's the reason they win. Can he elevate himself above Tyreek Hill in your mind?
Yeah.
After this week, yeah.
Yeah, there's 5 weeks left.
Right. So, yeah, if we're saying you have to award it on Monday, if he has that game, then it's Dak.
Okay.
I do think when it comes to the quarterback conversation, I think it's Dak Prescott. You have to credit Brock Purdy
100%.
for his efficiency,
Yep.
the team winning. I'm putting C.J. Stroud on that list in the conversation.
I am too.
I'll put Tua at the table to discuss it.
Okay.
There's not a surefire quarterback that you point out and say this is the guy this season, and that's the way it's become. Whether we're talking NFL MVP, the Heisman Trophy, it has just shifted to the best stat line for a quarterback that season.
Tell me what you want to do, right? 505-246-0610 is your MVP. And have you softened on McCarthy? Or is this, because you're quiet on him now. You all hated him. They're winning now. Now, you may have a different feel on Monday. He's an idiot, and they can't. All right. We'll have the conversation Monday. It's the opening drive on 95.9 FM and AM 610, The Sports Animal. You're home for Sunday night and Monday night and Thursday night football.
This report. We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
Albuquerque's leader in sports is ProView. From pros to prep, all your favorite action. All your favorite talk shows. Find it on ProView Networks.
We aren't all born with the same opportunities. But it's the people who care that change everything.
Get ready, Spout, get ready!
My coach, my teacher, my older sisters, my grandma, my brother, my tutor, my dad, and my mom.
As Mexicans, it's up to all of us to do our part.
So that no child goes without love.
And no family has to do it all on their own.
They're all our children. Every single person is called to make a difference in the life of a child.
It's up to all of us to do our part.
To pull together.
Pull together.
Pull together.
To make New Mexico the best place to be a kid.
Hi, my name is Daniel Chavez, and this is my business partner, David Chavez. We are the owners of Indeed Safety. Indeed Safety is a local safety consulting company helping our clients with their safety needs for their projects.
One of the things we pride ourselves as a construction safety company is helping our men and women in construction get home safe every day to their families. Indeed Safety is a proud supporter of ProView Network.
Teenagers love a party, especially during prom and graduation season. Often, alcohol is involved. Some parents think that hosting a party with alcohol in their home will keep the kids safe, but it's wrong and it's illegal. As a parent, to allow your teenagers' underage friends to consume alcohol on your property is a felony. Parents who host lose the most. Don't be a party to teenage drinking.
This is a program of the Drug Free Action Alliance. For more information, go to burnco.gov/do-not-host.
Young driver, this one. Hard to get her out. She'd been drinking. This one. Both of them gone. They'd been drinking, and he drove clear off the road. This was my family. Drunk driver hit us. And my wife. And our daughter. They didn't make it.
For your surprisingly great rates, contact your local State Farm agent today.
If you want the real deal, call State Farm agent Marty Size in Albuquerque today.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Hey, look! It's Dwight Goodman!
Boom! This place is hot. Let's see if anyone needs my help. How about I drive you madman home, huh?
I got this, Dwight. I'm the designated driver. Boom.
Sweet. Does anyone need Dwight's help getting home tonight?
No thanks, Romeo. I've got a taxi all lined up.
Drive safe, Dwight.
Boom! Boom!
I was born in New Mexico. I grew up on these streets. I got in trouble here, and I fought my way back in Murcia. I love New Mexico, especially the people. Now I'm using my training, tenacity, and energy to fight for you.
I'm Adam Oki, lawyer, fighter, and New Mexican. I was a local athlete here in New Mexico, so I'm proud to support your local athletes.
Rosendo Nahar here, president of Carpenters Local.
Sounded painful at the end.
It definitely got there.
That's a pre-bowl week hole. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. We were harmonizing at one point. Felt great.
We were harmonizing at one point. You guys should come by the office and see the lunacy that's going on there. Well, I mean, if you want to bring lunch or something. By the way, thank you to the people who've been bringing lunch by the office. People bringing candy. We got a charcuterie board the other day. Somebody brought that by. Cheeses and crackers and olives and all
the regular stuff.
Yeah, the charcuterie board. I think he was amazed that I knew what it was called. Couldn't spell it.
Any Iberian hams or fine cuts?
A good buddy brought by. So these M&Ms, dropped the bag on my desk, like these M&M clusters. So it's like milk chocolate with M&Ms in it. I mean, it's gooder than bleep. But
chocolate with chocolate.
Yes. But somebody came in my office the other day and picked it up, and I hadn't opened it yet. And he kind of looked at it, but I'm like, go ahead, man. No. And open it. No, I'm kidding. So I ripped the top off of it, right, and opened it up, and then, okay, this is open. That's what it's here for, man. Yeah, the people have been so good. Our office has been bonkers. Suggestion, and look, hopefully you're going to go to the Isleta, New Mexico Bowl. The lower bowl is basically gone, especially on the east side. I mean, the response, this is different. I know you're used to what it looks like in years. Y'all, it's going to look different, man. It's just going to be different. And, I just got another good buddy. Hey, I need to get 4 lower on the Aggie side. I don't have them. Like, they're gone, man. So if you're interested, get in, man. It's going to be a hell of a party. And I'm looking forward to it. And you guys are going to be out there, right? You applied for your pass? Did you get the link? Will you send him the link, please?
Yeah, I need that link.
Yeah, please send him the link and make that because I don't know how to do it. All right, 505-246-0610. Caleb, you want to talk about the new Lobo coach? What's up, Caleb?
Well, I do want to talk about the new Lobo coach, but I'm also just constantly. I honestly don't know how you guys do it. Been listening to you guys for a long, long time. I don't understand how you guys put up with the Albuquerque mindset of constantly. It's just constant. I don't live there anymore, but my family's still there. I read the Albuquerque news every morning before my own local news. Albuquerque's my home. I just cannot understand the poor man mindset of Albuquerque and how entrenched it is in people's thought process. They just do not understand. I live in College Station, the utter opposite of Albuquerque, or at least Lobo sports compared to A&M sports, the opposite world, opposite end of the spectrum, where these people are literally, they don't care how much money they have to give. As long as they're the best, they get the best, spend the most, they can care less. Now, I don't really like that. I'm not saying I agree with that either.
They've gotten results, Caleb. They've seen some results. I mean, the people who are saying, why should I keep giving when we've got the product? It's a chicken and the egg thing.
Well, they have the results because they have the base.
Right. So what came
Kyle
first?
Field has got 100,000 people on it when they're playing their body bag game.
Right.
When we play our best teams in our conference, we still have 10,000 people in the stadium. So, I get it. I get that they're far more successful, but trust me, they have not seen the results they want to see, that they're paying for, literally. We may think they've seen the results, but the people around here are highly discouraged, right? So that when they fired Jimbo, everybody that I work with and know is tickled pink because that's not the results they want. They want a national championship or bust.
I get it.
Now, I know UNM's on that plane, but my goodness, we literally just got a coach that was on our wish list, not our we're going to get list, our wish list. And here we are after his press conference, and people are calling and complaining about the contract and complaining about this and complaining about the price of the cheapest tickets in the country. Give me a break, people. What do you guys want? What do you really expect with that attitude? And I'll tell you what you're going to get. If he has any success, he'll be gone after year 2 or 3 unless the attitude and the mindset changes. I know Albuquerque doesn't have, well, you said it earlier, Jeff, there is money in Albuquerque. There's a lot of places that have a lot of poverty that support their sports programs. That's not a good enough excuse. The real thing is people are too lazy to get off their freaking couch on a Saturday and come support the Lobos. There's something better to do, and I really don't know what it is.
Caleb, appreciate you, man. No, and thanks for continuing to listen while you're in Texas, and thanks for the call. Caleb called us from Texas, and he's passionate about it. Again, I'm not going to tell you how to be a fan, but I've heard, there's things I've heard so much over the years, and you hear the same theme. And this fan base, and I don't want to clump, JJ, it's not fair to clump everybody into this.
It's not.
But there's a faction of this fan base that wants caviar on a Happy Meal budget, right? They want champagne on a give me a bad beer. Old Milwaukee budget. I don't want to piss off a sponsor.
You want that top shelf cocktail,
right?
And you're like, here's $5.
And the stuff that you're buying,
and I get it.
The gas station,
like it's one where if like you can be a fan and still just be like, I've given so much of my fandom to this program, and what have I gotten in return?
I get
and now people are screaming at me, I need to give more. Well, what is it giving me? And it is a battle. And it's moments like this you hope to capitalize on. If you're the University of New Mexico, if you're the 505 Sports Ventures, just a quick moment to get a little boost, because there's going to be a lot of work that's done without what is needed to sustain it in the beginning. And it's a good thing that Bronco Mendenhall loves challenges. And he mentions that multiple times. What he talks about is he likes a challenge, because that is what he's got. And it's hard. I understand this conversation. I get it. And I know it can be frustrating. And Caleb's point, sometimes you're just like, here we go again. We're banging our heads where we're getting. But it is hard to just say, hey, guess what? That football team that's not winning and stuff, they need more of your money.
Yeah. And I get it. People are going, what am I getting back from it? I get it. All right. I hate to do that. I'm not going to the phones because we do have Jack Nixon coming up next. And so I've got to stay on time on this one. When we come back, I think you're going to enjoy it. Even if you're a Lobo fan, Jack Nixon is a dude who's almost impossible to not like, and B, a legend in this state, a legend for Aggie fan. Been doing it for, I just called his 500th game for New Mexico State. He's been through a lot. He's going to call the Isleta New Mexico Bowl. Jack Nixon, the voice of the Aggies, next as the Aggies get set to play Fresno State in the Isleta New Mexico Bowl a week from tomorrow. You're going to enjoy this conversation next on the opening drive on 95.9 FM and AM 610. The Sports Animal, your home for Sunday night, Monday night, and Thursday night football.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
Rosendo Najar here, president of Carpenters Local 1319.
Juan Junior Gonzalez, warden of Local 1319. Some people have a misconception about what a carpenter does.
The carpentry trade entails more than just woodworking or building houses. We are responsible for 85% of a construction job site. Everything from the superintendent on down. We have a great apprenticeship program. Information can be found on our website.
If you're drunk, blasted, intoxicated, ripped, plastered, destroyed, bruh. If you're like this, you shouldn't be driving.
These days, it's important to know people and businesses you can trust. There's a lot of places where you can buy a vehicle, but there's only a few local dealerships where you'll find honest people who have your best interests in mind. And Fiesta Kia is one of them. We've been helping our neighbors save money and drive dependable cars for years, and we'd love to help you. With new Kias arriving daily, you'll love our selection and the peace of mind you'll get driving a Kia from Fiesta. So stop by and see us today at Fiesta Kia on Lomas, or just start driving now at fiestakia.com.
Teenagers love a party, especially during prom and graduation season. Often, alcohol is involved. Some parents think that hosting a party with alcohol in their home will keep the kids safe, but it's wrong and it's illegal. As a parent, to allow your teenagers' underage friends to consume alcohol on your property is a felony. Parents who host lose the most. Don't be a party to teenage drinking.
This is a program of the Drug Free Action Alliance. For more information, go to burnco.gov/do-not-host.
burglary takes place in the United States approximately every 15 seconds. International Protective Service is your answer for commercial and residential security in all of Albuquerque. IPS will work with your monitoring company for fast, reliable response times. You can rest easy knowing you, your family, or your company is watched over by International Protective Service. Call International Protective Service today.
For your surprisingly great rates, contact your local State Farm agent today.
If you want the real deal, call State Farm agent Marty Size in Albuquerque today.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Hey, look! It's Dwight Goodman! Boom! This place is hot. Let's see if anyone needs my help. How about I drive you madman home, huh?
I got this, Dwight. I'm the designated driver. Boom.
Sweet. Does anyone need Dwight's help getting home tonight?
No thanks, Romeo. I've got a taxi all lined up.
Drive safe, Dwight.
Boom! Boom!
Don't sacrifice quality and flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, red and green chili breakfast burritos, and frontier sweet rolls. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenprideabq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
Here at Clark's Pets, we understand your pets. We take meticulous time to find out more about them. Dig deep into their world to understand their needs. We do research for knowledge of each pet, so you can trust Clark's Pets to provide you the best products and service for your pets, because we work hard to understand all of their needs. Clark's Pet Emporium, your pet's second best friend.
I was born in New Mexico. I grew up on these streets. I got in trouble here, and I fought my way back in boot camp. I love New Mexico, especially the people. Now I'm using my training, tenacity, and energy to fight for you.
I'm Adam Oki, lawyer, fighter, and New Mexican. I was a local athlete here in New Mexico, so I'm proud to support your local athletes.
Esports Animal. I think we're going to have a pretty fun weekend next week. I think it's going to be a glorious week. Saturday, 8 days away, and tickets are moving. If you're thinking about it, I would suggest getting your tickets for the Isleta New Mexico Bowl. New Mexico State, the Aggies in the midst of a historical season. 10-4 is New Mexico State coming off their appearance in the Conference USA Championship game against Fresno State, 8-4. So you got two programs, Fresno State, a rich history. The Aggies making their first appearance in the Isleta New Mexico Bowl in its 18-year inception. Tickets are going fast, and you can get them at newmexicobowl.com. It's the opening drive. Jeff Symbieta and JJ Buck. One of my favorite people, and I hope I've told Jack this over the years, is Jack Nixon. I've never met anyone who doesn't like Jack. He is the word legend's an interesting word, but a guy, when you've got the career that he's got and seen what he's seen and done what he's done, he's been the voice of the Aggies for 40 plus years. He just called his 500th New Mexico State football game. And he sees some bad football, and I hope he's enjoying this season. The voice of the Aggies, Jack Nixon, a 5-time NSMA recognized New Mexico Sportscaster of the Year, joins us. Good morning, Jack. How you living?
I'm doing a lot better after that introduction. Thank you so much, Jeff.
Yeah.
That's very nice. I appreciate your kind words. I'm doing great, and you're right. This has been an exciting season, and it's been one, whether it's involved me or not, historically like no other at New Mexico State University.
I was honored to be on with you at halftime of the last home game, and we talked a little about it. Jack, I was saying on your show or on your broadcast, I used to do the Aggie Vision games. I went down in November. It was I don't want to say a chore because we're blessed to do what we do, but there was nobody there. The seasons were over, and then I was down there for the Jacksonville State game, and I've never seen a crowd like that in November. You've got to be enjoying this season like none other, and for you, I'm really happy because I know you've endured some long seasons.
Yeah, thank you. I have. And part of the fun of it has been being around Coach Kill and the team. I've probably missed a few days of practice, but I've gone consistently, and they've made me feel welcome, and they're really fun to be around. And then to see how they played, and this is just a completely different. Oh, it's just a completely different operation for Aggie football. And one thing a point I wanted to make, if you don't mind, is this game has a lot of potential to really be a tipping point for recruiting a lot of Aggie fans who now suddenly have kind of adopted Aggie football as a thing to do rather than something that maybe they go to once or twice a year. And I think a lot of fans are going to be there. They're going to enjoy the game, and this could be, I think, a possible turning point forward for building the Aggies fan base.
Jack, what's been the difference in the last 2 years? I mean, obviously Jerry Kill's the answer, but you've seen a lot of coaches, a lot of players. What's made this year so special?
Well, a couple things. When Coach Kill was hired 2 years ago, there was a private fundraising drive that raised, I think, $250,000 for football. Well, that's never happened before down here. I mean, there have been increases to budgets here and there, but nothing like that from the private sector. Plus, Coach Kill came in and he understood, how many coaches you need and how many GAs you have to have, and they found a way to finance that and to get enough staff around to do it right. And so he knew how to set up, let's say, a corporation or an operation that could succeed. It was set up to succeed rather than just kind of hold the fort until something better comes, which is really what. And this is no offense to any of the previous coaches, but that's kind of the situation they were in, with the exception of Hal Mummy, who had a lot of resources. But anyway, but he had the more resources to work with. He was able to get it set up the way he wanted, and then in transitioning from Doug Martin's last season to Kill's first season, they were able to bring in 40 new players to sort of totally change the mindset of the squad. Because even before, you could only bring in so many new players at a time, so you had to keep players who maybe could play, but they weren't really, they didn't have the best attitude, but you had to have someone. Anyway, they were able to bring in a large number of new players who bought in and accepted it last year, and then that is kind of, those roots were planted, and those players bought in, and, by midseason they were rolling again. So I would say his understanding organization, having more resources, and being able to bring in new faces to establish a whole new culture that is completely different from what Aggie football had been.
No doubt. Jack Nixon, the voice of the Aggies, is with us on The Sports Animal.
Well, Jack, let's put aside this 10-win football team for a second and talk about what drew you to the microphone to start broadcasting games and how the heck you've been able to do it for as long as you have.
Oh, well, as far as the last question, no one else will work this cheap.
I understand.
But, okay, let's see. I'll try to be somewhat brief with that. But, I went to college as fall of 1968. And, I was going through, they had like a radio, a student radio station that was sort of, you could volunteer for. So I thought that sounded like fun. And it was. And then eventually, by the time I was a junior, I was to a point where I had seniority and could do the play-by-play on the student station. It wasn't, it was just the student, it's carrier current. Yeah. It was just in the dorms. I don't want to get too technical here. It was like cable, only anyway. So I got to do that, and of course that was fun. I thought, well, if I can hang on to this and have a career of this, I think that's, I wanted to have, it was fun, and I thought if I could do something that was fun, that would be, my life's dream.
Sure. Everybody's, right? Yeah.
Just having fun led me to this career, JJ. I guess that's my best way to explain it.
I love it. And you got to have a passion for whatever you do. And then I think what people don't realize, too, is when you're with a team, you go along for those rides. And the highs and lows, you ride it just like the team does. And we've all been covering teams that haven't had the best success. What is the key in those moments, though, to still try to present, the team, the players in the best light, even though when people see it, like it's just not good at the moment?
Well, I guess the way I approached that was I just thought, well, I'm just going to describe what's going on, and then if they throw 17 straight incomplete passes, or that never happened, but if there was just disastrous performance on the field, just explain what was going on, and without having to point out the obvious that the offense is bad or the defense can't stop anyone, or whatever the various problems were. And I just think that just telling it straight, and people appreciated that, and they could, you didn't have to be, Pop Warner to figure out what the problems were most years with New Mexico State football. So I think that's how I approached it. That way, I guess I didn't get caught up in what my personal feelings were about what was going on, or what I thought should have been going on, or how it might have been better if this had happened or this person wasn't there, or whatever. And at least I hope that's what happened. But that way, it's just sort of straightforward, and rather than, and which perhaps is how you should do it always. But obviously, when the team is playing well and winning, then you can be more hyperbolic and be more excited about what's going on. But rather than get sucked into the, oh my God, is this team bad sort of thinking, which was true many years. Just try to be straightforward about it, and then just hopefully the next game will be better.
Yeah.
Sometimes they were,
and sometimes they weren't. But you're still loving what you're doing. I think that's the key. It goes back to what you said initially. You're having fun. Hey, what is the true rival? Jack Nixon, the voice of the Aggies, with us. You've got a unique situation in New Mexico State, right? There's two true rivals with UTEP and New Mexico, and certainly for the audience that we have, how do you describe the rivalry, New Mexico State with New Mexico, and how it's evolved over the years?
Well, let me just describe the rivalry. I'll leave the evolution part for another time. I'll say this, that I think that my feeling is that as far as, and I'm not speaking for Aggie fans, but my perception of it is, in terms of how people see it, is that UNM are the rich cousins who have better backing, more facilities, more facilities to work, resources to work with, and they have the rich cousins. They have better help from this is perceived this way, better help from the legislature. There's more business in Albuquerque, of course, to provide financial support, to buy tickets, to buy advertising, to provide those sorts of things, because it's a bigger city and there's more money for that in Albuquerque. And so UNM, I think, are the rich cousins who maybe, perhaps look down in the Aggie fans' minds on their country cousins. UTEP, they're the brother-in-law that comes over and has your lawnmower and won't give it back, and shows up late to the Christmas dinner and never brings a good gift, and so I think that's more how UTEP is perceived as opposed to how UNM's UNM or their fan base are perceived.
Yeah. Go ahead. I didn't know this about you until recently. You did USFL games, and the difference between doing pro stuff and college stuff is what for you?
Well, the pro coverage. Well, it was it was the only thing I did. I mean, here, and I have another job down here. I do news for a local radio group, which is I enjoy too, really. But and that takes some time. But working for the USFL team, I just worked for the team, and so that was it. You went to work, and your office was there, and the general manager, who was for a while with the Outlaws, was Sid Gilman, was right down the hall, and it was just. It was like it was pretty cool because it was just a business just like any other business. But only the employees were pro football players, but we traveled like there was no problem with checks, there was no problem with travel, there was no it wasn't like people were making a mad dash on payday to get their money in the bank, and nothing like that. It was interesting because you went to different cities and. I don't know. It was just a more professional approach, and it was just. I enjoyed it, but that league was fun to be in. The only thing wrong with it was the people running it, because the players were it was a relatively equal level of competition. The games were fun to watch, and football wasn't oversaturated like it is now. But I did enjoy that. But 3 years, or 2 of the 3 years of the league, I worked in it in Tulsa and in Denver, and so those are two pretty nice towns. So I have some interesting memories from those, and it was fun too.
Jack, appreciate you. Looking forward to seeing you up here next week. Can we reach out to you again, maybe during basketball season, catch up a little bit and get a little insight on Aggie basketball as they start to evolve too?
Yeah, that'd be fine. Anytime you would like to hear what I have to say, I'm flattered you wanted to know. Thanks very much for this shot and your kind words. You guys have been very nice to me. Thank you.
Always, I'm thrilled for you, Jack. I've always been a fan, and I'm thrilled for you. And I'm going to borrow a great line from a great broadcaster. Jack, thank you for your time this time. Till next time.
Well, I stole it from Jack Buck, truth be told, so thank you very much.
Yeah, all right, be well. See you next week. And thanks for the time.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks. See you, Jack.
Nice talking with you.
It's
Okay,
good
JJ. Bye-bye.
That's how Jack signs off all his broadcasts. Thanks for your time. This time, till next time. So long. And I could listen to him tell stories, I promise you, for hours. For hours. He's good, man. And you know, in perspective for a Lobo fan who loved Mike Roberts, and you should have. This is Aggie fans guy, right? He's been there for.
Oh, of course. And you see him, and I know what that life is like when you're on the road and you're a one-man show and all the work that goes into it, and he does a fantastic job.
All right, you can respond to that. We're going to push the red zone to 9 o'clock. Okay, DC, you good with that? 9 o'clock red zone. You can get in on that. I've got some thoughts on the Bronco Mendenhall stuff as well. And I'll let you know what you're saying to us on the opening drive on 95.9 FM and AM 610 Sports Animal, your home for Sunday night, Monday night, and Thursday night football.
This report is sponsored by Indeed.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
Albuquerque in sports is ProView. From pros to prep. All your favorite action. All your favorite talk shows. Find it on ProView Networks.
Young driver, this one.
Hard to get her out. She'd been drinking. This one. Both of them gone. They'd been drinking, and he drove clear off the road. This was my family. Drunk driver hit us. And my wife and our daughter, they didn't make it.
Rudy's is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
I was born in New Mexico. I grew up on these streets. I got in trouble here, and I fought my way back in boot camp. I love New Mexico, especially the people. Now I'm using my training, tenacity, and energy to fight for you.
I'm Adam Oakey, lawyer, fighter, and New Mexican. I was a local athlete here in New Mexico, so I'm proud to support your local athletes.
Don't sacrifice quality and flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, red and green chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier Sweet Rolls. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenprideabq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walk up to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number one. Cover it with green stuff, one scoop is not enough. Find a booth is real tough, back by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
Hi, my name is Daniel Chavez, and this is my business partner, David Chavez. We are the owners of Indeed Safety. Indeed Safety is a local safety consulting company helping our clients with their safety needs for their projects.
One of the things we pride ourselves as a construction safety company is helping our men and women in construction get home safe every day to their families. Indeed Safety is a proud supporter of ProView Network.
Teenagers love a party, especially during prom and graduation season. Often, alcohol is involved. Some parents think that hosting a party with alcohol in their home will keep the kids safe, but it's wrong and it's illegal. As a parent, to allow your teenagers' underage friends to consume alcohol on your property is a felony. Parents who host lose the most. Don't be a party to teenage drinking.
This is a program of the Drug Free Action Alliance. For more information, go to burnco.gov/do-not-host.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
Hey, look! It's Dwight Goodman! Boom! This place is hot. Let's see if anyone needs my help. How about I drive you madman home, huh?
I got this, Dwight. I'm the designated driver. Boom.
Sweet. Does anyone need Dwight's help getting home tonight?
No thanks, Romeo. I've got a taxi all lined up.
Drive safe, Dwight.
Boom! Boom!
Albuquerque's leader in sports is ProView. From pros to prep. All your favorite action. All your favorite talk shows.
And position himself right behind the camera. And he went into this nose-picking routine that was the most realistic nose-picking routine that you can even imagine. And it didn't just go on for a few seconds. It went on for several minutes. And it was so realistic and so disgusting. So I taped it. I had it on my, back in those days.
VCR.
What was that? VCR.
Yeah.
So both of my brothers are New Mexico State graduates. So first I sent it to my younger brother, and I just said, pay attention to the halftime display of nose picking of your fellow Aggies. And, you know, he got a good laugh at it, and he sent it back. So I sent it to my older brother. Never got it back, Jeff. But, you know, that's my impression of the Aggies. Fairly classless.
Wow.
So
From
anyway,
20 years ago, a dude picking his nose behind it. All right.
Yeah. If I had it, it would be a winner on America's Funniest Home Videos. I swear.
No, I got you.
But I also got to tell you that I think the Bronco Mendenhall hire is the best football hire UNM has ever had.
Oh wow.
You know, I think it's going to be a very successful hire, and I think we're going to pay some dividends probably quicker than people think. So
no, I appreciate
I'm
Jerry.
optimistic.
Thanks, Jerry. I didn't think that's where that was going. So the whole fan base was based on a guy picking his nose 20 years ago behind
How did you feel that was going? 'Cause I thought it was going to be him that was picking his nose.
That's where I thought so too.
I expected that for sure.
100%. And that was me, and I was back there, and I had no idea that's where that
had
was
me in the
going.
first half.
20 years later,
I know.
I'm here.
That's what I think the Aggie fan base is, that dude. Edward, follow that. Good morning.
You know, guys, sometimes the stories just write themselves.
So good.
Jerry, man. Oh, if he has that etched in his memory, good for him.
I know.
Hey, not only we're so blessed with the holiday season. Not only do we get an amazing New Mexico Bowl, But then we travel 3.5 miles down south, and we get Notre Dame and Oregon State.
At the Sun Bowl, at the Tony the Tiger Sun Bowl.
Almost as good as the New Mexico Bowl, almost, but the New Mexico Bowl is going to be the, crescendo of the bowl season. So I might even drive. I might traverse south and go to that game. Hey, the NFL, by the way, the New England Patriots, they can't even screw up losing. I'm so disappointed. Lose out. Bailey Zappi, zippity zap. He's not the answer. We need to get Caleb Williams and reset our organization. I'm so disappointed, but who knows how it's going to play out. NFL, 2 big games this weekend. Every time the public goes one way in a game, go the other way. And everybody's saying Dallas is going to beat the Eagles, and they're favored by 3.5. I have an auspicious feeling the Eagles are going to win that game Sunday night. I just have an inkling. And then I still think the Bills from Buffalo are going to be a major factor in the AFC playoffs. I think they're going to go into Kansas City and win this weekend. It's basically a pick-em game. So, Jeff, good luck next week. I'm going to try to swing by some of your events leading up to the game. So I hope everything goes well and you crush it.
Bring cake. See ya, man.
Indeed.
Later. Enjoy the weekend. Sorry. Or not. So, dude was picking his nose behind the play-by-play guy.
We sat on that for 20 years.
And that's what I think of all Aggie fans 20 years later. Ever tell you about my first time on ESPN? My first national television appearance? It was along those lines, although my fingers were not in my nostrils. I'll tell you next, and then we'll go into the red zone. On the opening drive on 95.9 FM and AM 610, the Sports Animal, your home for Sunday night and Monday night and Thursday night football. And
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
I was born in New Mexico. I grew up on these streets. I got in trouble here, and I fought my way back in boot camp. I love New Mexico, especially the people. Now I'm using my training, tenacity, and energy to fight for you.
I'm Adam Oki, lawyer, fighter, and New Mexican. I was a local athlete here in New Mexico, so I'm proud to support your local athletes.
Teenagers love a party, especially during prom and graduation season. Often, alcohol is involved. Some parents think that hosting a party with alcohol in their home will keep the kids safe, but it's wrong and it's illegal. As a parent, to allow your teenagers' underage friends to consume alcohol on your property is a felony. Parents who host lose the most. Don't be a party to teenage drinking.
This is a program of the Drug Free Action Alliance. For more information, go to burnco.gov/do-not-host.
Rosendo Nahat here, President of Carpenters Local 1319.
Juan Junior Gonzalez, Warden of Local 1319. Some people have a misconception about what a carpenter does.
The carpentry trade entails more than just woodworking or building houses. We are responsible for 85% of a construction job site. Everything from the superintendent on down. We have a great apprenticeship program. Information can be found on our website.
Hey, look! It's Dwight Goodman! Boom! This place is hot. Let's see if anyone needs my help. How about I drive you madman home, huh?
I got this, Dwight. I'm the designated driver. Boom.
Sweet. Does anyone need Dwight's help getting home tonight?
No thanks, Romeo. I've got a taxi all lined up.
Drive safe, Dwight.
Boom! Boom!
Albuquerque's leader in sports is ProView. From pros to prep, all your favorite action. All your favorite talk shows. Find it on ProView Networks.
Seriously? You expect me to drive while you aren't wearing seatbelts?
What's the worst that can happen?
Seriously? Buckle up.
Okay.
Thank you.
For your surprisingly great rates, contact your local State Farm agent today.
If you want the real deal, call State Farm agent Marty Size in Albuquerque today.
Like a good neighbor,
It's the OD in the AM with three-time New Mexico Sportscaster of the Year, Jeff Symbieta and JJ Buck.
Hey, we got a big announcement coming. We got a pretty cool twice a weekly segment coming up that you're going to really dig. And I know you're hoop heads out there and you're going to dig this. So stay tuned because this is going to be, I think this is big, don't you? You're just shaking your head back there. Yeah. All right. This will be really good. We're going to go. Welcome to it. The opening drive. If you're just joining us in the 9 o'clock hour. Jeff Symbieta, JJ Buck, DC. We'll get into the 3-for-all before we get out of here. We're going to do a red zone here in a second. Jerry just called and went on this story that just, took a turn at the end about some guy picking it. I guess 2 knuckles deep into his nostril behind the guy on TV. And 20 years later, he still thinks that's what he thinks of Aggie fans. All right. Jack Nixon, the voice of the Aggies, was with us. Really good conversation. He were you okay when I asked him, how do you define the rivalry between UNM and NMSU? And I thought his descriptions of that and the UTEP rivalry, where UTEP's the cousin or the brother-in-law that comes over and borrows your lawnmower and doesn't return it and never brings a good gift and eats all your food and,
Well, there's not many places that have 2.
Right.
And so I do think it's fair. Not fair. I like that you're asking for, what is the difference?
Yeah.
Is there a different feeling NMSU versus UNM than UTEP? I get it. They're right there. But there's also things that New Mexico State are fighting for that's not the same thing when it comes
100%.
to UTEP.
Real quick before we go red zone, I'll tell you my first national television appearance. I never told you this. So back in the day when I was in school, BYU was ruling the WAC, and San Diego State had a football game against BYU to win the WAC and go to the Holiday Bowl. And the Aztecs beat them. I think the score was 10-6, 10-7, something like a low scoring. It was crazy. And we rushed the field like people do. You rush the field. And the game was on ESPN. It was a November evening game. And we jumped the thing at Jack Murphy Stadium. And I remember looking back at my buddy, Neil. The cop had him like this, one hand like this, one hand above him. He got hauled off into the Jack Murphy Stadium drunk tank. And I'm like, all right, dude, you're on your own. I ran out there. And I got to midfield. Denny Stolz was the coach of the Aztecs at the time, and ESPN was interviewing him live. Well, Denny, how does it feel? You finally got over the hump, and you beat BYU. You won the WAC. You're going. And, Denny did his thing, and whoever the reporter says, all right, and now back to you. And then how those people, that was me. I jumped in front of Denny Stolz and the reporter, and I was that dude. And I remember laying on the floor at my girlfriend's house that night watching ESPN, hammered. Just flipping. Right? And there's me in this rugby shirt. Like I'm that idiot on ESPN. That was my first ever national TV appearance. And that's where I thought that story was going. The dude with his digit in his nostril, 3 knuckles deep, I thought he was gonna tell me that was me, and I what no. That's how he thinks of Aggie fans 20 years later.
I love that story. I look at you differently now, Jeff. You're one of us.
Well, I had hair, dude.
Well, okay, so that's how they.
Yeah.
You had
I wonder
your,
if we could
disguise
pull up
on.
that clip. That's got to exist somewhere in Bristol, right?
Oh, I bet it does. Yeah. We'll have to. Well, you work for ESPN. You could probably get it, right?
I imagine. I don't know that I want to.
Not sure.
I would imagine I probably don't want to, but yeah.
Not your greatest moment there, Jeffrey.
Yeah. All right. Or maybe it was. Maybe that's where I peaked. For all I know.
I will tell you that surely was not your peak. I can say that for sure.
I don't know. All right. Patriots beat the Steelers last night 21-18 to start the NFL weekend. It could be a doozy. There are some games. Let's get into the red zone.
I'm much you want to make a bet I can throw a football over the mountains?
Are you crazy? I'm saying you're a football player.
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to Tom Brady this game.
You're in the red zone with Jeff Symbieta and JJ Bach.
Let's go, baby!
It's first and goal.
All right, we're going to try something different. This is going to be Red Zone. Who needs this one more? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you a few of the games this weekend where the outcome will affect the playoff picture most. Then what I want you to do is I want you to give us a preview of that matchup, what we should watch for, and finally tell us who needs this win more. Okay, so let's start off with Buffalo at Kansas City.
Buffalo needs it more. I mean, they just do. They're 6-6, and they're on the cusp of missing the playoffs completely. I mean, Kansas City, I'm not telling you Kansas City doesn't need it, and as they're trying to get the 1 seed, they need it, but who needs it more? It is Buffalo. This is so interesting to me, and Buffalo's scoring points, and this is the week the Chiefs, to me, have got to figure out how to score after halftime, because I don't think they can win this game disappearing in the second half. The last few weeks, now I understand the Bills have lost 3 of 4. They scored, they scored 34, 37, 22, 18 against the Bengals. They're going to score some points in this. I love the Chiefs defense, but the biggest thing is Kansas City's got to score in the second half.
For Kansas City, I'm looking at, all right, it's Andy Reid. It's Patrick Mahomes. And I know Travis Kelce's not an explosive player, but he has to have an explosive game. He only has 5 touchdown receptions on the season. If you look over the last month, it started out really slow, 4 for 14 against Miami, but he's got like 9 for 44, 7 for 91, 5 for 81. Decent games, but he has to be a difference maker in the red zone. They got to figure out, all right, we have Travis Kelce. I know they're hyper-focused on him, but your best player still has to make plays in the offense, and they have to get Travis Kelce going, and then that should, theoretically, help open things up for Rashee Rice, who's becoming their wide receiver number 1, and they got to figure out something in that passing game, but it starts with getting your best player the football in the red zone.
Second and goal.
Ready, down, put.
All right, Colts at Bengals. Who needs this one more?
It's Cincinnati Bengals, because they're the team that's playing with a backup quarterback. This is still a manageable matchup, even with Jake Browning at quarterback. We saw what he just did against Jacksonville. And for Cincinnati, they're 0-4 in division. They're 2-6 in conference. So they need anything to try to get a tiebreaker, to try to get an advantage over the teams in the wild card race. And a win over the Indianapolis Colts would help give them at least a tiebreaker in one situation against a team in the playoffs.
I love where you're going because they both need it, right? And so that's what makes you think. And he's right. The Bengals need it more. Why? Because they're a game behind. Because everything he just laid out on division and conference records. So they're a game behind. They're playing catch-up. I do believe this to be maybe the 2 best backup quarterbacks playing. Right? If you look through all the teams that are playing with the Mitch Trubisky's and Bailey Zappies and DTRs and CJ Beathard's maybe and all that stuff, I do believe this game really is intriguing to me, because I think it's 2 really competent backup quarterbacks. The game can go either way, but the answer is Cincinnati needs it more.
Third and goal.
All right, let's try this one. Jacksonville at Cleveland. Who needs this one more?
Cleveland does, because they're in that quagmire again. Jacksonville's got a 1-game cushion in their division. Cleveland needs it more, and Cleveland is scuffling, coming off of 2 straight losses to teams that, if they're going to be who they think they want to be, they should have beaten the Broncos and the Rams, and they didn't, and they weren't all that competitive. Rams came in and blew them out of their own built last week. Broncos handled them in Denver the week before. I guess they were both on the road. It wasn't in their own built. They were both on the road. They got to find a way to figure it out. Look, Deshaun Watson's not coming back. And so in the last 3 weeks, the Browns have scored 13, 12, and 19 points. They need it more, and they need to figure it out more.
I'm with you on the Cleveland Browns, because Jacksonville has a favorable schedule down the stretch. It starts with this game. They, even with a banged-up Trevor Lawrence, I expect Jacksonville to respond after what happened against Jake Browning, and why in one game you think Jake Browning is so good. It's because of what he did to the Jacksonville Jaguars on Monday Night Football. Favorable schedule for the Jaguars because, yes, they play two tough teams. The Browns at home are a little bit different defensively, and then they host the Ravens. For the last 3-game stretch, it's Buccaneers, Panthers, and Titans. For the Jaguars, Cleveland has to they cannot be in a position where they're going down the stretch having to win games. Like, this is one, if Trevor Lawrence is banged up, because it's insane. A high ankle sprain, he's out there potentially practicing. Like, you're at home, you got to find a way. Miles
evidently,
Garrett.
CJ Beathard's banged up too. They're back up.
Like, this is the one, though. It's you're at home. Trevor Lawrence isn't 100%. Miles Garrett has to go off.
4th and goal.
Did I stutter? Beer me.
All right, it's week 14. There's some people hanging on to playoff positions, but if they lose, that might not be the case. So what teams are you ready to bury if they lose this weekend?
In the AFC, I'll bury any of the 6-6 teams that lose this weekend, and that's the Denver Broncos, Cincinnati Bengals, and Buffalo Bills. I'll start there.
So Broncos, I'm burying the Steelers after last night. Just what I saw last night. Like, they're 7-6, but with all due respect, tell me what I'm supposed to think is going on positively there. Broncos, Steelers, and I'm just going to tell you, if the Browns lose this week, they go to 7-6. Tell me why I'm supposed to have hope with what I watched there. So those are my 3 AFC teams. NFC teams, it might be Seattle for me. And as much as I love Seattle going in and what they're doing, and the other one, who do the Vikings play this week?
Raiders.
Yeah, if the Vikings get beat by the Raiders, I think they might be done too.
I would look at the NFC, and I'm with you. It's kind of the same thing. It's just 6-6, like you're running out of runway at this point in the season. If somehow, some way, the Packers lose to the Giants,
yeah, I mean,
on Monday Night Football,
no, that's fair.
It could be a devastating loss with the schedule that's ahead for them. And Seattle, like, even with it was close to a good loss category, the Thursday night game last week against the Cowboys, because just how good they played, how Geno Smith responded on offense. But yeah, they have been way too hot and cold to think that they're going to be able to find something down the stretch.
Look, there's too many of those early season hiccups that you get to mid to late December, and those start to kick you in the backside a little bit, man. Those actually freaking matter. And you lose some of the games. Like, I go back at Seattle. First of all, what are they doing getting swept by the Rams? Right? If they're who you think they are, they've lost 3 in a row. And I look at some of those games. The Ravens, Cowboys, Niners. Okay.
Because the Rams, with Matthew Stafford back, are a competitive football team.
Obviously, they're better than Seattle, right? I mean, obviously they are. They got the same record. They beat them twice.
Who's better, Matthew Stafford or Geno Smith?
Matthew Stafford.
Yeah, Matthew Stafford. Yeah.
I mean, that's Geno's been nice. It's a great story. Matthew Stafford's a better quarterback. I mean, this isn't a conversation.
No, but I'm saying that's why I'm not surprised that the Rams beat Seattle.
Simply because of quarterback play?
Because the Rams were not a bad team just because they were a bad team. Like, they were bad because who was playing quarterback for them last year at the end? It wasn't Matthew Stafford. And then Stafford comes back, and you're like, oh, we got this Karen Williams dude.
Yeah.
Oh,
how about that find, by the way? Is that one of the best? So do they have the 2 best out-of-nowhere finds in the NFL this year? Kyron Williams and Puka Nacua. Give me one better find that came out of nowhere. Demario Douglas, like who's a better?
I don't know.
Where the hell did that come from? Guy?
Yeah,
Tank Dell?
The list. Tank Dell.
Okay. I mean,
Karen Williams is a second-year player too.
Okay, but I mean, literally an out of nowhere. Where the hell did that guy? None of you except for me drafted any of those guys in your fantasy football. Like honestly, you got one better than those 2?
I think that's a Puka, Tank.
Kyron
Williams.
By the way, I got them both on one team, Kyron Williams and Puka.
You starting them both?
Of course.
Nice.
Although I told you that the week I was down in Cruces at the hotel, I forgot to put them in my lineup. Yeah, I won by 1 that week. Thank goodness. Yeah, give me 2 better out of nowhere players than the Rams got. Tank Dell, kind of. I mean, who else is like you're going?
Tank Dell was that guy.
Yeah,
rookie out of Houston.
Yeah, but other than that, man, come on now. I mean, and I don't know if that's a Sean McVay thing, if that's a you got to give him and them a little bit of credit on those. All right, 505-246-0610. I got a ton of correspondence from you that I've got to get to you. You've got emails coming in response on Bronco Mendenhall, what he had to say yesterday, the Jack Nixon conversation we just had, the voice of the Aggies. We got to hit the John Rahm going to live, by the way. That happened yesterday. What that means for the PGA, because I know a lot of you give a big darn about that. I'll hit all of that. But what my thoughts, and I'm really interested in your guys' thoughts. John Rahm taking the, $600 million and going to live? It's the opening drive on 95.9 FM and AM 610, the Sports Animal. You're home for Sunday night and Monday night and Thursday Night Football.
Telling it like it is.
But one of the things... State Farm is there.
For your business or your home, Valley Fence stands alone.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
Teenagers love a party, especially during prom and graduation season. Often, alcohol is involved. Some parents think that hosting a party with alcohol in their home will keep the kids safe, but it's wrong and it's illegal. As a parent, to allow your teenagers' underage friends to consume alcohol on your property is a felony. Parents who host lose the most. Don't be a party to teenage drinking.
This is a program of the Drug Free Action Alliance. For more information, go to burnco.gov/do-not-host.
Here at Clark's Pets, we understand your pets. We take meticulous time to find out more about them. Dig deep into their world to understand their needs. We do research for knowledge of each pet, so you can trust Clark's Pets to provide you the best products and service for your pets, because we work hard to understand all of their needs. Clark's Pet Emporium, your pet's second best friend.
International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
Don't sacrifice quality and flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, red and green chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier sweet rolls. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenprideabq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
We here at Clark's Pet Emporium welcome you to bring in your pets. We know that having your pet with you makes the experience of shopping for them even better. And we welcome you to bring your kids also. Clark's Pet Emporium, your pet's second best friend.
These are more than just the sounds of a safe place to go after school. These are the sounds of interest being ignited and of mentors making an impact. At Boys and Girls Clubs, we don't do just one thing. We do whatever it takes to meet the needs of every kid who comes through those doors. Because whatever it takes is what it takes to build great futures. Great futures start here.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walk up to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number 1. Cover it with green stuff, 1 scoop is not enough. Find a booth that's real tough, back by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
For 50 years, Clark's Pet Emporium has been your pet's favorite stop.
I am Michael Ozera, midfielder for New Mexico United. Clark's support for United is an example of their commitment to local partnerships. Clark's understands that paying it forward develops a better team and ultimately better community partner.
When you need pet food and supplies,
Clark's is always the best shot.
Locally owned and operated with 2 convenient locations.
Go United!
ClarksPets.com.
I was born in New Mexico. I grew up on these streets. I got in trouble here, and I fought my way back in boot camp. I love New Mexico, especially the people. Now I'm using my training to
being the rich cousin. It's the opening drive. JJ, Buck, me, Jeff Symbieta, and DC. Jack Nixon, the voice of the Aggies, was with us. Remember, the Atlanta, New Mexico Bowl is going to be right here exclusively on the Sports Animal in Mexico State and Fresno State. That's a week from tomorrow. 3:45 will be kick right here on the Sports Animal. Tickets are going fast if you're interested in getting out to the game. NewMexicoBowl.com. I know most of our stations are giving out tickets, right? So listen to the Cumulus radio stations, and you got a chance to win, too. Text line 505-246-0610. That's how you can call us or you can get on the text. It says, thank you for the outstanding interview with Jack Nixon. Aggie broadcaster or not, that is a classy guy. The Aggie faithful could take a lesson on class from that guy. I wonder if it's the same person who told us about the nose picking thing. I don't know where that came from. This one says, all right, so it's about a call. Caleb called us earlier from College Station and was talking about Lobo Fan, the support, and that sort of thing. And talking about the Bronco Mendenhall hire. It says Caleb is spot on. It's like people complain still about the pit losing seats. They complained when they remodeled Isotopes Park. Both are first-class facilities now. Okay. We were talking about Mike McCarthy earlier. It says Jerry's going to give Mike McCarthy another contract extension, but he shouldn't. This one says people screaming loudest about Dak having a good year are people in his camp because they want some of the money from his contract to stick to their fingers. I'm a Cowboy fan, it says, but I'm pretty sure that the Eagles are going to bring them down to earth this Sunday. Who do you guys like, Cowboys or Eagles this weekend? Straight up win. Cowboys finally get over the hump?
I think they do. I think this is their weekend.
They're playing better, aren't they?
A lot better.
They had them on the ropes in Philly a couple weeks ago. I think you're right.
It's a statement game.
Yeah, I think you're right. I'll get to some of these later. Terry, good morning. You're on the Sports Animal. Hello, Terry.
Good Friday, everyone. From the island of Misfit Toys, thoughts and hugs to Austin, Addie, Jack, and all family members. Hoping they have all a wonderful holiday season. Maybe a lump of coal for the committee. I went a little overboard Monday calling the committee clowns. Very disrespectful to clowns. My apologies to Ronald McDonald, Bozo, Clarabelle, going, and the it clown. Should have been more respectful to them. Now, just think of if they had left out the SEC bias. To me, this is how it would have lined up. Michigan 1, Washington 2, Florida State 3, and Texas 4. Should have been simple. 3 undefeateds, and then the 1 loss Texas winning out over Alabama. To me, Penix versus the Florida State defense would have been an awesome matchup. But then again, from defense and all that. So we'll live what we live with and all that. John Rahm, yes, $600 million. Hope he can squeak by. Doesn't have to get food stamps. I was always the anti-live. It is what it is. They'll move on. So be it. Bronco, wish him the best. I still wonder about the town of money, and yes, there's money, but do the people with money want to go to Lobo games? I don't know. I know we had a 12, 15-year run of really good crowds, and I hope they can get back to that. Was it the free parking, not free parking? The prices are very reasonable to some,
of course,
but too much to others. So I wish it well. It seems like, people are interested in all that, so maybe you can get back in there. But again, we're Lobos, just knowing, we might get in a Power 5 on the West Coast. Just know what the committee and everybody thought of the ACC, a team that had won, 4 national titles this century?
Yeah, but it's moving.
And they just got dumped on. So it's so much looking like the Power 2 and to heck with everybody else, which is sad.
Yeah,
but you guys have a great weekend. Enjoy your week, and
see you, Terry.
Have a bourbon for me during the week.
Promise I will.
Okay, take care.
See you. I want to hit on the John Rahm stuff. So John Rahm is going to live. The report is 6 100. Well, I've seen everything. All right, Rahm's 29 years old. I've seen 300. I've seen 600. I mean, I'd love to know what the difference is. It's $300 million. No, I get it. I don't know that it's going to change your lifestyle from 3 to 6 plus whatever. You want to go with the low number? I'm fine with it. They gave him $300 million. Partial ownership in his new Live golf team. Live is recruiting other players to join his team. PGA might be in a little trouble. Now, I don't know the alliance between Live and PGA. I don't even know what I think it is anymore. At what point will you start watching more Live tournaments, 54-hole tournaments, than you will PGA? And I know you watch it, I watch it, you watch some. At what point will you start saying, wow, that's more important to me?
It's never going to be more important to me. I'm not that dude.
Yeah, I'm probably not either.
Either way, I think a lot of it too is, do they get national broadcasts? Are they still on the CW? Because you just turn on the weekend, you're NBC, CBS, and you're usually getting some golf tournaments over the summer.
Yeah.
And there it is. What has changed in this? It's not all of a sudden that these dudes didn't want the money before. All of them wanted to take the money. There was a sense of, well, if you go, you're not on the PGA anymore. And that's out the window. And so you can go and you can play in the major golf tournaments and make your money. So these guys weren't standing on a moral high ground last year. These guys weren't sticking up for anything you think is right. These guys weren't sitting there going, I'm not taking blood money. No, they just wanted to play major golf tournaments on the PGA Tour. Mm-hmm. And now all that doesn't matter because there's that crossover and this buddy stuff. Then go get your money.
Yeah. Quote Jon Rahm, this decision was made for many reasons, what I thought was best for me. Don't get me wrong, it's a great deal. I had a really good offer in front of me, and it's one of the reasons why I took it, right? They really put me in a position where I had to think about it, and I did. Every decision I feel like we make in life, there's somebody who agrees and likes it and someone who doesn't. I made this decision because I believe it is the best for me and my family. And everybody I've been able to talk to has been really supportive of me, so I'm very comfortable with my decision. Is this the game changer for Liv? I know Brooks Koepka's over there. I mean, they got some good names. Phil Mickelson. Is this the game changer? Because here's a guy who's at the top of the game in his prime.
These are the things that can start chipping away at viewership. To your point of watching this.
What am I going to watch this Sunday? I want to watch that one or that one. Yeah.
Just it's a PGA Tournament X versus this Live competition. Oh, who's playing in this? Rahm and Koepka. Okay, let's tune in for a little bit.
Yeah. I think it's a big deal. And I think the PGA, look, the more money they throw around, and they're pulling money out of the ground, boys and girls. They're literally pulling it out of the ground. There's enough to go around. And is Colin Morikawa or Jordan Spieth or Justin Thomas or Rory or whoever it is who's next, one by one, as they're pulling them over there. And again, you're Jon Rahm. Let's use the number. Here's $300 million plus. You play less golf. You make more money. What do you want to do? Do you care where the money's coming from? The moral high ground. Wow, it's blood money. It's filth money. I mean, I'm going to tell you, every one of these guys is past that, man. Every one of them, and I think most of you are. You want to get down, dig where it's coming from, and they waited this thing out. Liv figured it out. They knew that it would die down. $300 million, $300 million, man. I don't even know what that means, but it's $300 million, right? How do you feel? Is this a game changer for Liv?
I think JJ's right. You have to have the national broadcasts. You have to have premier events and things like that if you want to keep up. So it could be a game changer. Maybe it's the first domino.
Or the next.
Or yeah, I suppose that's true.
At what point does the PGA just go away?
Never. I mean, there's always going to be young golfers.
Take over?
No, there's always going to be young golfers who are coming up and are going to fill that tour. And they're good, by the way. They're really good. If you watched the PGA last year, every week was exciting almost. Right? There's good young golfers. And I'll tell you this all the time about everything. Just because we don't know about something doesn't mean it's not good. Like, I watch tournaments and I learned about guys, but I'm their audience, dude. Like, I'm golf guy. I will watch that. Like, some people just watch pro wrestling. Some people watch any baseball game. I'll watch golf that time of year because I really enjoy it.
Well, I mean, the PGA is going to exist, but it's not going to have stars.
Well, it'll make stars. Guys will start winning and they'll become
And then they'll
stars.
go to live.
Maybe, yeah.
So
is it going to be a minor
just be
league?
like a feeder system to live golf? But
But
then,
at some point, people better start watching live more than PGA for it to be that.
not if they're just going to keep handing out checks.
But again, they can have, and look, they had all that money, and again, this is just me.
PGA's never going to compete at that level.
How much live did you watch? Yeah, they've got Brooks Koepka and Phil Mickelson and all those guys. How much of it did you watch?
Doesn't matter.
Now, to them, it doesn't, right? Because they're not in it for the money. But as far as the profile and to say it's going to go away, what are you watching every Sunday? People are still watching the PGA. Now, maybe it's because it's established. You're right. They're not dependent on the ratings. But you just said they better get a TV network. Well, the network who's going to pay for the rights cares a whole lot about how many people are watching. Now, will they automatically watch if they're on NBC or ABC or Fox or wherever? Maybe. 505-246-0610. We're going 3 for all when we get back. Going to show you how daggum hard it is to bet. We lose a lot. We're going to do that. 3 picks, 3 games, 3 dudes. It's 3 for all. Next on the opening drive on 95.9 FM and AM 610. The Sports Animal, you're home for Sunday night, Monday night, and Thursday night football.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
Teenagers love a party, especially during prom and graduation season. Often, alcohol is involved. Some parents think that hosting a party with alcohol in their home will keep the kids safe, but it's wrong and it's illegal. As a parent, to allow your teenagers' underage friends to consume alcohol on your property is a felony. Parents who host lose the most. Don't be a party to teenage drinking.
This is a program of the Drug Free Action Alliance. For more information, go to burnco.gov/do-not-host.
Here at Clark's Pets, we understand your pets. We take meticulous time to find out more about them. Dig deep into their world to understand their needs. We do research for knowledge of each pet, so you can trust Clark's Pets to provide you the best products and service for your pets, because we work hard to understand all of their needs. Clark's Pet Emporium, your pet's second best friend.
International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
Don't sacrifice quality and flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, red and green chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier sweet rolls. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenprideabq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
We here at Clark's Pet Emporium welcome you to bring in your pets. We know that having your pet with you makes the experience of shopping for them even better. And we welcome you to bring your kids also. Clark's Pet Emporium, your pet's second best friend.
These are more than just the sounds of a safe place to go after school. These are the sounds of interest being ignited and of mentors making an impact. At Boys and Girls Clubs, we don't do just one thing. We do whatever it takes to meet the needs of every kid who comes through those doors. Because whatever it takes is what it takes to build great futures. Great futures start here.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walk up to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number one. Cover it with green stuff, one scoop is not enough. Find a booth is real tough, back by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
For 50 years, Clark's Pet Emporium has been your pet's favorite stop.
I am Michael Azera, midfielder for New Mexico United. Clark's support for the United is an example of their commitment to local partnerships. Clark's understands that paying it forward develops a better team and ultimately better community partner.
When you need pet food and supplies,
Clark's is always the best shot.
Locally owned and operated with 2 convenient locations.
Go United!
ClarksPets.com.
I was born in New Mexico. I grew up on these streets. I got in trouble here, and I fought my way back in boot camp. I love New Mexico, especially the people. Now I'm using my training, tenacity, and energy to fight for you.
I'm Adam Oki, lawyer, fighter, and New Mexican. I was a local athlete here in New Mexico, so I'm proud to support your local athletes.
Rosendo Najar here, president of Carpenters Local 1319.
Juan Junior Gonzalez, warden of Local 1319. Some people have a misconception about what a carpenter does.
The carpentry trade entails more than just woodworking or building houses. We are responsible for 85% of a construction job site. Everything from the superintendent.
Season. What did I go 2-1 last week? I am 17-12. I'm 5 games above 500.
So we should be charging for the segment
Based on some respects, yep. Yeah. I should be, here's my golden lock of the year. My golden 100% lock. Call 1-800, I'm an idiot. 1-800, I'm dumb. Call me now, and you get my 100% gold lock of the year in the National Football League. Just call me now. Sorry. And you're 14-19-1. DC. All right.
Hey, I was 3-0 last week, so I'm getting back on track.
That hurt my throat. That meant you were 13. You were 11-19-1. That's a rough start.
That was a very rough start.
Yeah. All right. What do you got? What's your first one?
My first one, I am going with the Detroit Lions. They're 3-point favorites on the road. We can win this game by at least 6 points.
That's a good one.
Over the Chicago Bears.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Right.
I'm going to take the Seahawks plus. I think 11's a ton. I know the Niners tend to beat them. I was encouraged with Seattle last week, the way they played in a loss, and I know that's stupid. But I'm 11's a thick number. I'm going to take 11.
See what happened 2 weeks ago?
Yeah. No, they played the same team. Yeah, same team. I know.
Just making sure.
Yeah, that 11 is thick. I thought about that a lot, but I'm going to do something that I really don't like to do, but I'm feeling good about the Broncos +3 at the Chargers.
Denver +3 at LAC. All right. My next one, I'm going to take the Buccaneers +2 at Atlanta. I'm over Atlanta. I'm not that I love Tampa Bay, but I'm over Atlanta.
Yeah, I was thinking about taking the under on that one. That's going to be an ugly game, but I am going to take the Colts +2 at the Bengals.
I've been pretty good betting the Colts too. They kind of cover by a point or a half a point every week.
They're definitely wager friendly.
Yeah. What do you got?
I don't think that Tampa Bay Atlanta game is going to be as bad as you guys think. 40.5 over under. You have the most underrated player in the NFL catching passes for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Mike
Evans. I think that's actually going to be a fun game. It's division rivals. Where I don't think it's going to be
going over that? Is that what you're saying?
No.
Oh.
I'm not going over that. It's not my pick. I'm just saying
okay.
That's not going to be a dog of a game. It's not. Right. What is going to be a dog of the game in the NFC South is Carolina at New Orleans.
Yeah.
And that, I'm taking the under at 37.5 points.
Under 37.5. That's Jameis Winston against Bryce Young, the Panthers and Saints. All right.
Taysom Hill, though. Thumbs up this weekend.
All right. What do you got as your third one?
All right. Rockets at Nuggets over 220.5. They're between two. They're averaging 225 points a game, so feel pretty good about that one.
Nuggets need to get some losses recently. Not happy about. Clippers game. Clippers looked pretty darn good the other night.
Yeah, they did.
Get back on track. Gotta get Jamal Murray going.
What's your third?
Third one, I'm going to go all NFL this week. And I'm looking at Buffalo and Kansas City.
Mm-hmm.
And I will take KC.
-1?
-1.
All right. I'm going back to your New Orleans game. And this doesn't make sense if I believe your logic. I'm going to take New Orleans and lay the 5 against Carolina. I like New Orleans' defense. I think New Orleans' defense scores this week. I'll take New Orleans -5 against Carolina. We'll see how bad we are when we get back.
You think the defense scores this week?
Yeah.
I bet that's a pretty thick prop if you were able to find that one.
No, I mean, if you find it, let me know. I'll give you a shekel to put on it. Let me know where you go. All right, 505-246-0610, 888-922-0610. You guys are coming in strong today. Let me give you this one on the text line on Bronco Mendenhall's contract, because somebody complained about the buyout, that there's a buyout. Why was there be and I asked that person, who was it earlier, how would you suggest it be written? And the answer, JJ, was, I'd rather throw $50,000 a year more on the contract than have a buyout clause. Well, but how would it work? Would there just, I can fire you whenever, you can quit whenever? Is that kind of the answer? I mean, I guess. Text line, contractual terms are very fair to both parties. If people object to this, then blow the whole system up and start all over again. But for UNM to be competitive, the contract has to be competitive. And there's plenty of people who say, yes, please blow the whole system up and start all over again, by the way. There are plenty of people who would prefer that. Marty, good morning. You're on the Sports Animal. Hello, Marty.
Guys, I like my Cowboys this weekend. Some fun facts from that first game. I think there was over 20 flags thrown, a lot of home cooking in that game. And Cowboys still managed to be, a player or two from winning that game. I just think the Eagles, I think eventually winning so many close games just sort of gets to you. I think eventually it goes the other way. And they've had a little fortune, some of these victories. But I personally think the Cowboys are a better team. I know everybody talks about that Eagles roster, but they have to play a certain way to win. If they don't play a certain way to win, they just don't win. I just think that, and I think the Niners took that away. There wasn't a lot of that tush-push going on, but I like the Cowboys. I think they'll cover. You might even see a double-digit win. We'll see, maybe a touchdown, but that's my sure bet for the week. And really excited about the Bronco hire. I think, if anything, I think he's going to recruit a different type of player. I think what we're used to seeing at UNM for many years is that 5th, 6th tier kid from Texas or California. I think he's going to stay away from that. I think he's going to go to states that perhaps players normally wouldn't come to New Mexico, but I think that's going to be Bronco style, and I think it's going to work just fine. I'm excited.
All right, man. Marty, enjoy the weekend. Appreciate you. And he loves the Cowboys, huh? Kind of like the Cowboys this weekend, too. I don't normally, especially in games like this. I think this is the one they get over the hump. And I know I'm saying, look what happened 2 weeks ago, and I'm ignoring it with Seattle. And
well, it's the NFL. And anytime you for sure think something's going to happen, always question that for sure. Because even bad teams find a good game. And now this isn't that type of conversation, but this is just, it's the overwhelming narrative for a lot of people. Oh, it's the Cowboys. They lose the big game.
We will see.
Not feeling that way.
All right, wrap it up when we come back. Everything you need to know going into your weekend. And correspondence that I haven't gotten to, we'll do that when we come back. Hey, for years now, I've been telling you about IPS and how IPS offers standing guards for 24-hour patrols to protect your home or business. What you may not know is IPS also installs home alarms, and they've been doing this for a few years, but they want to remind you, if you don't have an alarm in Albuquerque, you're much more likely to be a victim of break-in. The IPS technology team also installs video cameras that records criminals who vandalize or steal company property or home property, and the video will help police in their investigation. When bad guys see surveillance, it does discourage criminal activity. IPS will set your business up with access control, so the only people authorized to get in are the only ones who do get in. Sign up and have IPS monitor your alarm and monitor your cameras. when they see something on the alarm or on the cameras or the alarm goes off, 7 minutes or less, they're there to check things out. I've trusted IPS for years to protect my home. My family feels better. My neighbors feel better. My neighbors feel so good. They actually also now use IPS. Call, see what they can do for you. 505-897-2420. 505-897-2420 or online at ipsglobal.com. IPS is passionate about making Albuquerque a better and a safer place to live and work.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
We aren't all born with the same opportunities. But it's the people who care that change everything.
Get ready, Spout, get ready!
My coach, my teacher, my older sisters, my grandma, my brother, my tutor, my dad, and my mom.
As Mexicans, it's up to all of us to do our part.
So that no child goes without love.
And no family has to do it all on their own.
They're all our children. Every single person is called to make a difference in the life of a child.
It's up to all of us to do our part.
To pull together.
Pull together.
Pull together.
To make New Mexico the best place to be a kid.
International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
I was born in New Mexico. I grew up on these streets. I got in trouble here, and I fought my way back in boot camp. I love New Mexico, especially the people. Now I'm using my training, tenacity, and energy to fight for you.
I'm Adam Oki, lawyer, fighter, and New Mexican. I was a local athlete here in New Mexico, so I'm proud to support your local athletes.
Rosendo Nahad here, president of Carpenters Local 1319.
Juan Junior Gonzalez, warden of Local 1319. Some people have a misconception about what a carpenter does.
The carpentry trade entails more than just woodworking or building houses. We are responsible for 85% of a construction job site. Everything from the superintendent on down. We have a great apprenticeship program. Information can be found on our website.
Young driver, this one. Hard to get her out. She'd been drinking. This one. Both of them gone. They'd been drinking, and he drove clear off the road. This was my family. Drunk driver hit us. And my wife and our daughter, they didn't make it.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. Everguard Roofing and Solar. For nearly 20 years, Everguard Roofing and Solar has been working with New Mexicans to enhance their homes and businesses. For all your roofing and solar needs in New Mexico, call 505-821-9543.
Hey, look! It's Dwight Goodman!
Boom! This place is hot. Let's see if anyone needs my help. How would I drive you madman home, huh?
The Sports Animal.
All right. I sound like TJ. All right. Hold on. TJ offered me, he says, you want to come on Friday or Monday? And of course, today he's at a brewery. And by the time I got back to him, how about Monday? How come I never get his beer shows? So I'm like Monday with him, I guess.
So they're doing a toy drive this afternoon.
Yeah,
Canteen Brewhouse.
I can help bring in toys. I can bring people in.
You can do that.
I mean, what are we? Bill says, here's the problem, Jeffy, with Live. For the casual fringe fan, unless it's a major or Jack or the Big Cat are playing or Phil's in contention, they don't care about golf or leagues. I mean, for the fringe fan, that's right. And so Live thinks they can attract that fringe fan. with the fun, the wearing shorts, the 3-day tournaments, the shotgun starts, all the different stuff. They think that will attract the younger fringe golf fan.
Shorts. That's it.
Well, I mean, is that not part of it?
No. I think that is one of the funniest things ever. Like, you know how we're going to be different. You know how we're going to get the youngins to like us.
They can wear shorts.
We're going to wear shorts.
Yes.
Y'all can wear shorts.
All right, here this will make you laugh too. Lobo soccer dog whistle, says Bill. Jeff, I'm starting to hear again, we need to drop Lobo football and bring back a, quote, top 5, end quote, Lobo soccer player instead of paying big bucks for yet another football coach. People have short memories, Bill says. In their last 5 seasons, Lobo men's soccer finished 7th, 4th, 5th, 6th, and 5th in their conference. They made the NCAA only once. They weren't even that good, let alone a great team, and more importantly, people weren't going to the games. Thank you, Bill. Look, it's not an issue, Bill, and there isn't a dog whistle on it, and even if it is, it's not going to happen. And all of you people, the beauty of that is, and this points that out so well, all the people who lost their minds have no idea that they were 7th, 4th, 5th, 6th, and 5th because they didn't go to one freaking game.
Yeah, and I agree. Like that's not a thing. But let's also not trash Jeremy Fishbein.
No, he had a great program. Took him to the Final Four twice.
Like, let's not trash what they did at the end just because they weren't great before they got rid of him.
But let's put it in context too. Yeah. Yes, he took that program to the Final Four twice.
You don't need to keep sending that email, man. It's not a big push.
It's like a no push. I mean, it's like here. I want soccer was what you have because that's going to make your university way better. And you're right. And you're going to lose all that revenue, but you're not going to spend a little, but you're not going to make a lot. And stop, Hoser. Oh, that's the wrong button. Hoser. Good morning.
That's right. The hate has to stop, fellas. We've moved on. I like what I heard from Bronco. I mean, even the part where he said, his coaches are coming in. It's like, man, it gave me the feeling like, oh, shoot, the A team is coming. I've never heard him talk before, but boy, he was really, just sharing his vision and what he's all about. I think the question was asked, are you going to call a defense? He said no. He said, and I think his answer said the coordinator needs to be so involved in what he's coordinating that you just can't do it. You're either the head coach or the coordinator, and for him, it's like no, somebody else is going to do it. They're going to spend the time. So, man, I'm excited about what's going to happen. So we'll see. We'll see how this all plays out. But I just happy for the hire, and here we go.
10-4. Enjoy the weekend, Josue.
You too. Bye bye.
Sentiment, I think that's kind of the sentiment. Bourne's in on Dontrell Moore. Dontrell was with us. Was it yesterday only that he was here?
It was yesterday, yeah.
Bourne says, first of all, Jeffy, I hope Dontrell's feeling better. But if I'm ever put on bed rest, I hope I have that much energy. It sounded like he could rush for 100 yards right now. Dude, Dontrell is have you met Dontrell? Do you know Dontrell Moore at all?
Very briefly.
He's a stallion, dude.
Yeah.
He is a stud.
Yeah.
And he's got to be 40-something now, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, he was doing that. Yeah, it's got to be about right, man.
Yeah, early 40s. He's a dude that you see him.
And you say he could play right now.
Yeah. And you're like, oh, you just got done playing a couple years ago, huh?
And by the way, like athlete means, like when you talk about great athletes could do anything. I've never played golf with him, but I hear he is a tremendous stick. Like somebody was telling me they went out and he shot at 78 at ACC. Like just he hadn't played in a while and they went out and Dontrell was pissed he shot at 78. I'm like, whoa, what? And then somebody else said, yeah, no, I was with him. He shot at 75. Yeah, he's an athlete. Oh, wait, Jeff, you don't have to be an athlete to play golf. Stop it!
He's a good soccer player.
I hear he's a good soccer player. Yeah. Yeah, no, he is. And he was with us yesterday. And if you missed what he had to say, that's available for you wherever you get your podcasts on our website, sportsanimalabq.com. Go to Opening Drive or wherever you get podcasts. Put in Opening Drive. Dontrell was on yesterday talking about the Bronco Mendenhall hire and as vested as anybody is in Lobo football, the all-time leading rusher for UNM. Second leading rusher still in the history. Was it Donald Pumphrey or Rashad Penny who broke his record for the Mountain West? It was one of the San Diego State backs, right? One of the San Diego State backs broke his record, and they were pushing hard to get it, and that's how you do it, right? There's a record in sight, you go get it, push. but he's still one of the all-time
was Pumphrey.
best. It was
Pumphrey,
Donnell
yeah.
Pumphrey. Yeah, he would. Yeah. San Diego State's had some backs.
6,400 yards.
How many? And what Dontrell?
6,405 yards for Pumphrey.
What Dontrell have?
4,950.
Oh my gosh, he shattered it.
Yes, he did.
So how many Dontrell have?
4,956 yards.
So almost 5,000 yards in 4 seasons. And Pumphrey went for 60 what?
6,405.
Holy smokes, dude.
1,600 a year? Goodness.
In basically 12 games, right?
That's insane. Oh my goodness, 150 yards a game throughout his college career.
Look, you did that without a calculator too. I'm looking at you. Didn't even open up your phone or punch anything into a device.
No, I'm old enough where I actually had to learn how to do math.
And actually write and sign
Show
your
your
name in
work.
cursive?
Show your work.
Can you
with
write
the
in
thing.
cursive? Like, do you know?
My print writing is no good, but my cursive is.
Is that right?
You'd be like, oh, this guy is.
Wow.
He's from the olden days.
Way back in the olden days. All right, here's what we got this weekend.
And by the way,
yeah,
what's so impressive about Pumphrey?
Yeah,
he did that with only 752 yards as a freshman.
Is that right? So he basically did it in 3 years. He did 5,800 yards in 3 years.
Yeah. He did a sophomore 1,867 yards, junior 1,653, and the senior 2,133 yards.
And how many games? 13.
Played 14 games.
14 games, 2,100.
So he did
yards.
have 2 14 game seasons.
Yeah,
All
21. That's in line with 150 apiece.
Ugh.
I am blown away.
Enjoy the NBA play-in tournament this weekend. Enjoy, you get on
In-season tournament championship.
That's right.
LeBron James is going to claim it.
Does that count towards his Michael Jordan count?
LeBron James.
He'll have more in-season
James.
tournaments than Michael Jordan. That'll make him the best.
Where's
ever,
your
right?
in-season tournament,
Yeah,
Jordan?
where's
Where you
yours?
at? MJ.
Thanks to Jack Nixon for coming on with us. Jim Rome Show is next. The Herd with Colin Cowards after that. 2 men ons here at 4. And then the opening drive's back on Monday with award-winning radio starting at 7 a.m. Big weekend for you?
Huge week.
I enjoy it. Great week, DC. Adrian, it looks great. I'm off for Bull Week next week, but maybe I'll call it. Can I call in and hoe or something? Or can I call in during the week on the way to work? From work?
Call in as much as you want.
All right. Be good to each other, please. Have a great, safe weekend. Be kind, loving, caring, and sharing.
Brandon Vogt here. The hardworking elves at Right to Bear would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
Albuquerque's leader in sports is ProView. From pros to prep, all your favorite action. All your favorite talk shows. Find it on ProView Networks.
We aren't all born with the same opportunities. But it's the people who care that change everything.
Get ready, Sprout, get ready.
My coach, my teacher, my older sisters, my grandma, my brother, my tutor, my dad, and my mom.
As Mexicans, it's up to all of us to do our part.
So that no child goes without love.
And no family has to do it all on their own.
They're all our children. Every single person is called to make a difference in the life of a child.
It's up to all of us to do our part.
To pull together.
Pull together.
Pull together.
To make New Mexico the best place to be a kid.
Young driver, this one. Hard to get her out. She'd been drinking. This one. Both of them gone. They'd been drinking, and he drove clear off the road. This was my family. Drunk driver hit us. And my wife. And our daughter. They didn't make it.
Albuquerque's leader in sports is ProView. From pros